morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. We will get to that, I promise, a little bit later on. I'm to understand Drew Forrester is going to rejoin us. So, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say here, but that's apparently happening. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the Orioles. We're going to get to all of it. We got to put up a man of the match. We got so much stuff to do. On a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program, we got to make a trip to Aberdeen. We're going to meet Jake Cunningham. Just lots of stuff on the docket for a Wednesday edition of the program. I got to give away this $25 gift card to Gloria's Grill. Apparently, I've lost my voice. I don't know if that's an allergy thing. Rita was trying to tell me last night that she was going through that, so maybe. Ugh, yuck. I don't like it. I didn't know that was a thing until I started talking, until the show began, and I opened my mouth. I was unaware that I had such a problem. So there's that. Neat. Super neat, gang. Super neat. The microphone is spinning. What the hell is going on with that? What's going on today? What is the deal? I don't like it. What the hell? Look. It's just... Well, now it's okay. All right, hi. Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. A lot to do on the program today. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone. High school sports season, high school football season does get underway this week. High school football season gets underway. And every score, every update, every ranking, everything you need to know between now and May and the end of high school sports season, you can find it all. Every school, every team, every county, every part of the state, every sport, all of it. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Again, CountySports.zone. That's where you're going to find it all as it all gets underway this week. Whew. Yeah, the Orioles did win, so we do have that going for us, which is nice. I also made a trip out to Owings Mills yesterday, which is rare for me these days, and I took a look at the Ravens on the final day of training camp, and I don't know, a couple of thoughts, at least a couple of thoughts that I have to share. This is awkward because we're going to have our buddy Qadry Ismail call in, but apparently that's not happening. And I don't know the reason why. And I've vamped already. This is the bit where I've been trying to vamp and I've been trying to not get to don't want to move on to the next thing because then that's going to be the moment. And now I'm just sort of stuck in what's called limbo, radio limbo, if you will. Just sort of twiddling my thumbs, not knowing what to do. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. I don't have any of the answers. I don't have any of them. It's very uncomfortable. I think we're good. I think we're all right. Let's talk about what I saw out there yesterday. I saw this man when I was out there yesterday. I know he's had vested interest in being at training camp this year. He is, of course, Ravens Super Bowl 35 champion, WJZ 13 analyst. He is our friend, Mr. Qadry Ismail, and he's back with us now here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I am doing well. The rigors of training camp is winding down, and the next step in the journey continues.
You know what jumped out at me yesterday, Qadry? I want to get into it with you. I think I came into camp presuming that I had a pretty good feel on what the wide receiver and return rooms might look like, right? And as I was out there yesterday, and I'm not trying to suggest that Dayton Wade has played his way into the roster conversation. I don't think that's the case. I think that's too much. But he's looked good. Anthony Miller's looked good. They did bring in Russell Gage. Do we know what the depth at wide receiver and what the answer will be in the return game beyond, obviously, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar?
I don't think we do. I think we are going to get it solidified in the coming days. Obviously, you have, their practice today, and then they'll travel out to Green Bay. They'll have their practice with Green Bay. And I think from there, we'll get a stronger understanding on what is going on with the mindset of the rotation and what, John Harbaugh, Tom Monk and all of them, what they want to do and what they want to see as to this roster of receivers.
Have you gotten a feel for what this is really going to be like, this dynamic kickoff, and how that impacts who it is that is your returner?
I love it. I love it so far. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be. I think the NFL is all about challenges and figuring things out. You look at the film, you see what it looks like, you make the adjustments. The good teams that are leaving no stone unturned, those teams are the ones that will usually come out on top. And I think for this roster of guys that have been in the past, all they've been doing is just downing it in the end zone. But I think this crop of returners, it's going to be a fun year for them.
So I asked this. I know it's not really related to the question about who the returner is, but I was talking to some folks around the league the last couple of days, and I'm starting to get the sense that the dirty little secret might be that a lot of teams have just decided it's really not worth playing the game. Just kick it back out through the end zone and let them start at the 30. It's only a 5-yard difference. Would you be trying to participate in this play, or would you be willing to just say, hey, you've got Justin Tucker, kick it through the end zone, go defend for the next 70 yards?
No. That would be a tactical disadvantage because you're giving the other team that special teams a rest. You're giving the other team, getting out as a former returner, I was trying to get it out to the 27 every time, and that's 3 yards short. So you can imagine every time I got to pass the 30, I was feeling pretty good about myself. It's an advantage to have a ball start at the 30 compared to, a returner getting sloppy, the ball, the conditions, the concentration, one of your guys making an excellent tackle, momentum, all of it. I think you're lazy if you just think, why are we having this? I think it's pretty cool to see the way in which, football strategy comes back into the game with the kickoff return the way it is.
I hear you. I don't know, man. I don't. It's the idea that you can still, in one of these scenarios, you could still potentially give up a touchdown. In the other scenario, you definitely can't. That's the part that I'm struggling with. And I get it. The answer is, go down and make the play, and then you don't have to worry about that. But, man, I got to think about it. Qadry Ismail with us here on GCR. Qadry, it feels like after the second preseason game, some of the consternation amongst this fan base, amongst the folks that are out there every day, is related to sort of the lack of push from the offensive linemen, the young offensive linemen, the guys that have been playing, Andrew Voorhees, Roger Rosengart, and Daniel Fa'alele, who we think are going to be starters for this team. Where are you, having watched day in, day out, about your level of concern now for this group and this massive kind of overhaul of the offensive line going into the season?
It's interesting because I think when you look at the OTAs and the mini camps, and this year I've seen more football than I've had in 2 decades. And I think the offensive line, it's one where you got to put them into the rigors and the fires of the game to have them feel comfortable with whoever the starting five is going to be. And I don't know if this team starting five is on this roster yet. I think it might be a Ryan McKinney type of situation where you get them settled in by at least week 1 of the 2024 season.
That's interesting, and I know it's something that a lot of people have brought up so far. I guess to the point, though, Do you need to give these, if you were committed to these guys, if you did make those decisions, do you need to let them try to figure it out in regular season games, or can you say, no, we already have our answer, this isn't good enough, we made a mistake here?
Yeah, that's not necessarily a bad thing to cut your losses, but I don't think I think there's still time left. If I am one of those offensive linemen, sure, I'm going to be working on my game, but also there's a killer instinct mentality that you got to have. And I think if this squad can figure that out, like, let's go out there and just punk somebody up in Green Bay. I think their defensive front is an attacking, aggressive defensive front. It'll be good to see how they adjust, meaning the offensive line adjusts. But I think a lot of it has to do with attitude and mindset. And if they have the right attitude, then I think this can be a really cool thing. Redeem yourself. Like, everybody is doubting you. Play that card. Oh, everybody's, they hating on us. We got to go out there and prove everybody wrong. Us against the world. Hell yeah, us against the world. Like, y'all haven't proved it. So go out there and show them that y'all can absolutely go out there and ball and be the ballers that everybody is hoping and waiting for you to see, because skill positions, I mean, they have it for sure. Running back, tight end, receiver, it's there. Now you just got to be able to protect Lamar and let him cook.
The other area that a lot of people have been talking about, Qadry, is backup quarterback, and Josh Johnson obviously had a nice game on Saturday, and maybe that quieted a little bit, but it's someone that I don't know in this scenario that we always paint, right? That if Lamar's out for the year, the season's over, it doesn't matter who your backup is. But in the scenario where he would have missed 4 games, how comfortable would you be? Would you be trying to upgrade over Josh Johnson as we see who gets cut, who might be available in a trade before the regular season begins?
Knowing what I know now that I didn't know before, if you look at all of the training camp practices, you wouldn't necessarily be feeling all the angst. I think a casual fan looking at the preseason games, they see some things and like, oh my God, the world is falling. But I don't believe that's the case. I think if you see the totality of training camp, you would see why Josh Johnson is the backup quarterback and feel comfortable with him being the backup quarterback.
Can you tell me a little bit what are you seeing day in and day out from Josh Johnson that impresses you?
The command of the offense has to be priority number one, and so I see that. I see a guy that he's going to the line of scrimmage, putting guys in the right position. I see him executing it. I don't see him being perfect, but I also see him. There's a reason why he's a backup. But I also see him having tons of experience and not flinching under pressure. And there are times where guys, might not be in the right position, and so he has to, don't make a bad situation worse type of scenario. I think that has happened at some points in training camp.
Anyone else that you have, in being out there so much, that you've been particularly impressed by, whether it's someone that's fighting for a roster spot or someone that we knew was going to be on the roster that maybe the more you've watched them, you said, I think this guy might be ready to be an impact player for this team. Anyone else that's really jumped out at you? You have spent so much time watching this team in the lead up to the season?
So the guys that I thought were like, oh, wow, okay, cool, like the consistency of it all, without question, like offensive line, you got to look at Ronnie Stanley just going through training camp, like, boom, doing his thing and awesomeness. But the Patrick McCarrys of the world, his consistency just still out there, and being elevated. I would say it was really cool to see Voorhees being able to really do his thing, and Roger Rosengarten. They're both trial by fire, but at least they're holding up to snuff. Nate Wiggins, I believe he stays healthy. He could be the real deal. Brandon Stevens, it just feels like he's always around the football and making plays. It was awesome and refreshing to see Marlon Humphrey go through the entire training camp and just didn't flinch at all. I think his lighter weight looks really good on him. The D-line, from the Travis Jones to the Broderick Washingtons, Justin Madubuike, all those guys, I'd be curious to see how they're going to, kind of jump out and perform in Green Bay in their practice as well as in the game. I tell you what, my boy, Derrick Henry is the real deal.
Yeah.
And he's just a pro. I like what his training camp looked like. But Lamar Jackson, my God, man, everybody, I remember the Lamarites were jumping on me as far as, me making the observation that I think, it wouldn't be in his best interest to gain all that weight. And, I was like, just, my God, man, throwing it in the bus, whatever. However, you see Lamar from the liveliness of his throwing mechanics to the liveliness of his legs and taking off down the field and like sprinting, like the entire training camp, the consistency of both his arm and his legs and everything was really cool to see.
It's funny you bring up McCary because I feel like that's a complicated part of the offensive line conversation, right? Like you talk about the idea of a veteran, do you look at Patrick McCary and say, well, we've got that guy and we could plug him if we're not comfortable at, like, let's say right guard, that could be him? Or do you just think it's too valuable to have him in that sixth offensive lineman role that can play everywhere, that come hell or high water, you don't want him to be a starter at one particular position?
Pretty much. I mean, I think for him, his blessing is that he's so dang on good at everything. His curse is that he's so good at everything that he doesn't necessarily get the love of being one of the five, but he's the rotational piece that they desperately don't want to mess up.
No, I understand that entirely. All right, before I let you go, how you feeling? How's Qadir handled everything? Like, how have you felt about that? How's the analyst side of you versus the dad side of you handling that?
Yeah, so honestly, his play and my expectation as an analyst, I expected him to go in, be ready, and as long as he had some really good nuanced coaching, he was going to be competing and let the chips fall where they may. I think it was a blessing to be on this roster at this time with the group of guys that he has, plus, with the coaching that he's been getting from George Godfrey from the tight end spot. It's a really good room. And I think, just a competitor. I've seen him make some tremendous plays against the ones. I've seen him, be consistently in there in critical situational football throughout training camp and special teams. He's been pretty much doing his thing on special teams. So, I appreciate and respect the way he's been able to go out there and hone in on his craft.
Excellent. Remind everybody about missile training, my friend.
Yeah, I'm at my facility right now in missile training. You can go check out missiletraining.com for any information as far as human movement and athletic performance. At the same time, if you want to reach out to me, direct message on X, you certainly can. I am Qadry Ismail. And check me out on WJZ. As always, on all my Purple shows, whether it be Purple Preview, Purple Pregame, and all the platforms on WJZ.
Excellent. Always looking forward to it. Thank you for taking the time this morning, brother. Let's talk again soon.
Indeed. Appreciate you, bro.
Qadry Ismail with us here on GCR. It was good to see him out in Owings Mills yesterday. And the wide receiver thing is the one thing that's interesting to me, like that I came away from it saying I just don't know what that looks like. I don't know if there are guys in there that you're maybe trying to tell them, hey, your knee. You said your knee was an issue, right? Didn't you say you were having like some ankle problems? I kind of came into it assuming that there was, the three guys at the top, and obviously there's still the three guys at the top. Tez Walker, Deontay Hardy is the returner, and then probably a spot for Tylan Wallace, but even that was like maybe. I got to see how the rest of the roster shakes out. But I talked to some folks yesterday, and I don't know that it's definitive that the returner is Deontay Hardy. Like that's just a surefire thing. It could be that they don't feel like they have an extra roster spot without that confidence. They have given Malik Cunningham looks in that department as well. And these veterans, Russell Gage and Anthony Miller in particular, a lot rave reviews for Anthony Miller since he's arrived at Ravens camp, which again, I don't know if that, as I always say, there's this danger in what happens in training camp in the preseason has to matter. And I'm telling you definitively, it does not have to matter. Oftentimes those decisions are made and it doesn't matter what you're doing out there or who looks good in a practice. They know who it is they want on the team. It's mildly interesting because I don't think the difference in what the Ravens are going to do. This is what I always say about why I don't go out there. You'll get yourself wrapped up in this. Like, this is captivating. And then you'll remember there is almost no chance that the decision between Tylan Wallace, Deontay Hardy, Malik Cunningham, Anthony Miller, Russell Gage, Dayton Wade will have anything to do with the Ravens' ability to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in January. It's just that you're there, and so you want something to be interesting. Like, this has got to be interesting. As Qadry points out, what is interesting is standing next to Derrick Henry. That is interesting. I had actually had this happen once before, and I'm trying to remember where it was. But, my God, that is a specimen of a human. That part is interesting.
You had a chance to stand
right next to him.
Right next to him.
You know that Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that's what it meant, but yeah.
I know it's not what it meant, but that's all I could think about. I swear to God, the phrase he is not like a womp, womp, womp. That's the way that I felt in that moment. He is a different human, man, just a different specimen. I can't bamboozle you into telling you that I thought I learned anything. First of all, the Ravens were in shorts yesterday. It was a glorified. Second of all, even if they weren't.
So how many games are they going to win?
Yeah, who knows? I have learned some time ago that I am not learning anything.
Well, one practice, yeah.
Yeah, if I watched more, I'm sure. I do think that that's mildly interesting, the returner and the continued. I guess there was a ESPN story yesterday that the NFL came out and said, it's funny because we were just talking about this with Evan earlier in the week, and the NFL came out and said we won't move it back further. We won't push it back to the 35, even if teams all just decide to kick the ball through the end zone, and that this year it'll be the 30-yard line. That's the way it's going to go. So I have heard more and more that there are more teams that are just sort of saying to themselves, we're just going to kick the ball out of the end zone and we'll deal with playing from the 30. I don't know. Here's the part where it's good to see him. It's good. It's been a while. We missed this. We missed this.
Where have you been?
Where have I been?
Yeah.
Here. Where have you been?
Can you believe?
Oh, good. Oh, I can't.
The way this woman has taken over.
Wait a second. I'm trying to figure out where you're about to go with this. So you want
no one liked her.
You want
and now all of a sudden
you want me to believe that it was that you're talking about Kamala, but you're really talking about Caitlin Clark?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a sports show.
There you go. There you go. That's what you have to offer today.
At least one of them knows what they're doing. Right?
Ah, yes. Well, that's why she's going to be our next president.
Apparently.
That's the way it's going to go.
What's going on?
I don't know. What's going on with you? Where have you been?
I've just been. It's just Wednesdays are a tough day for me.
Oh, yeah? You got
Stuff going
you have a
on.
job? I don't know what you do. You come in here eating sandwiches. Come to your house and chew gum. What do you do to your days?
Just been busy. I've been doing a lot of golf.
There you go. There,
Doing golf.
just out there doing that golf. Out there doing that golf. Come
So
in.
last time I saw you
and
was at the
read.
beach.
That's correct. That is the last time that we saw
That is
each other.
actually the last time I saw you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Actually, I swear to God, the other day, hang on a second. I pull up to the office, and I thought you were here
You know what tomorrow is,
because I pull up.
right? Oh, that's
Yeah.
Tom Barzak.
Sure it is. It's
He's
all
a-
Tom Barzak.
He's a member at Eagles Nest.
I believe you.
Yeah, that's Tom Barzak.
But I
where,
pull-
where was he?
Right here,
Oh,
apparently.
at the dentist office.
Maybe. I pulled up to the office the other day, and I see what is this? This is an SUV of some sort. I can't even.
That's Tom Barzak.
It's got a license plate that says LOV Golf and a Calvert Hall sticker. And I say to myself, "What? Why is Drew here? What the hell is he doing?"
It's Tom Barzak.
Well,
He's
you
a good
keep-
friend of mine.
Keep saying that. You're really giving the big push to Tom Barzak. It might be a swell fella. I just don't know him. What? Anything you got on your mind?
What have you been up to?
I don't know. This mostly
What
coming
else?
into work.
Hey, you know what tomorrow is, right?
What's tomorrow?
It's a big anniversary. August 22nd.
Oh, was that the day? Was that the? What do you do? How do you mark it?
How are we celebrating?
What do you,
Try to shoot each other with a gun?
I don't think that's the way
In the
that we
ear.
go about. What? What has gotten into you?
It's the new thing now.
What has gotten into you?
Tomorrow is the anniversary.
Okay, that's
We're
great.
going to do something, aren't we?
No, I've never
Get together
cared.
over there at the. Where did we go that day?
Corner
that
Stable.
rib place.
We went to Corner
Stable.
Stable afterwards. We all met up at Corner Stable, and we said,
Corner Stable?
"Well, that was fun." And then that was the end of it. My wife was panicked. My wife was like, "What do we do now?" And all I could say to her was like, "This was the best thing. This needed to happen. I had to get away from that. Like, this is a good day in my life." She's all flummoxed, losing her mind. What's gonna? We got a kid on the way. I'm like, look, he's killing it. You got everything's good. You good?
So,
You read
yeah.
through the print issue of Press
that's,
Box?
not much there. I mean, it was a brief perusal.
You know what? You think you said Wednesdays are tough.
Wait. Hold on. I'm not going to get canned on August 21st and August 27th.
Can I see it in my office for a minute?
So what do we got to go over? Let's go through everything that's on your list. Start.
Hang on. We got
rapid fire.
Wait, we got to do this because we got to give out a man of the match from last night. We got to do that.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by
can
Brown
tell you that
Advisory,
is.
coming October 17th to 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring local food, shopping, and fun for all. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront, vibrant small towns, and family entertainment. Tickets on sale now at maryland5star.us.
Yeah, there you go. Dean Kramer, man of the match for the Orioles, 9-5 win over the Mets last night. Goes 6 innings.
Who said Dean Kramer?
I know about James.
I did. And with James McCann, he did hit a home run. That did happen. That was neat.
Against
So-
his former team.
Right, so that, because
Well,
he...
who picked Dean Kramer?
I do. That's the way it works here. I don't know if you know. It's not a cheermocracy. It's a cheertatorship.
Gotcha.
That's neat. Anthony Santander also hit a home run last
Yeah,
night.
but-
So why was James McCann
Well, he also had a
more-
sac fly, too,
Ah, I see.
which doesn't happen often.
Right. There we do have a and by the way, it was a miracle that was a sac fly because it was not hit very hard. There was a part of me that was like, "Ah."
And he got hit in the face a couple weeks ago. So.
Right, I remember that. I'm not sure what that has to do with whether or not he is the
Well,
man of the
I
match
like him.
last night. Thank you. Dynamite observations. You know what? That is some Drew Forrester caliber analysis, my friend.
Easy there.
That is. That's what I would like to say.
Well, it should have been McCann.
because
I don't know. He had the big hit, I thought.
that was the big hit.
Called a good game.
Either him or Kimbrell.
Oh, yeah.
He did get 2 outs.
You know what? He did. It was by far his best outing.
There was definitely a part of me that when he was coming in, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to piece together. Okay, they got a lefty, a righty, a right. I'm piecing together how are they going to connect for four.
Yeah, right.
How are
How's
they
this
connecting for 4
How
runs?
is this about to happen?
When he came out and got Cano, I'm like, okay, this could be the greatest. Hyde gets fired on the spot if somehow Kimbrel comes in last night and implodes.
I actually thought it was funnier when he was warmed up for the 9th inning, and Hyde was just like, "Yeah, not yet." Like, not.
Oh, not at 7-5.
Well, he wasn't warming up at 7-5.
Yeah.
He only started warming
Oh
up
yeah,
at 9-5.
yeah. Once it got to 9-5,
he was not
Kimbrel
coming into a
texted him
2-run
and said,
game.
"Is 4 enough?" And
No,
Hyde
then,
said,
But
"Not
then
sure."
the 9th inning starts, and you're all assuming that Kimbrel's going to be because he was warmed up, and somehow it's Yanier Cano that's on the mound, and you're like, "Oh, they're not even going to him in the 4-run game."
No.
And it
I
turns
think
out-
4's an okay number. 3 or less, you're nervous. For sure, 3 or less,
I mean,
you're.
if you were not nervous, then God bless you. I was still nervous.
At 4?
Oh, yeah.
He's not giving up 4 runs, is he?
All he's got to do is walk 2 guys. Which
Well, he
is
would
very
never do
good.
that.
Right. Almost never.
Oh,
Almost
man, that guy,
never.
he stinks.
He hardly
But
ever
they
does that.
can't do it. Apparently, they're sticking with him.
Dean Kramer is 4th man of the match of the season.
Okay.
6 innings last night, 1 run, 2 hits.
6 and 9 on
I
the
mean,
year.
Oh, for his record, because you're the guy. It's somehow it's only the people sitting in this chair in a certain age that actually care what someone's record is.
No. I was just
as a
mentioning.
pitcher.
I couldn't give a rat's rear end. I'm just mentioning he's 6 and 9.
Every time I'm in here, Stan Charles wants to tell me about. Well, he's got 10 wins. Like that matters. Like that's a thing.
Well,
Like it's like anyone with a brain is thinking about wins and losses for a pitcher anymore. It's almost hilarious that we still go through the at the end of the game, the winning pitcher was it is the most irrelevant statistic that exists in baseball. There is nothing more irrelevant than a win and a loss. Craig Kimbrel got a win that game against the Yankees the day before the All-Star break.
right.
It is the most irrelevant statistic in baseball. There is nothing relevant about wins and losses.
I'd like to
You
argue
can-
that with you. If
you
I could,
can't.
but I can't.
You
Yeah, I'm
can't.
thinking.
If you could fix it somehow, if there was a way you go about fixing wins and losses to make it a more relevant statistic,
Well, how would you do that?
I don't know. I don't
Well,
think you can.
Let's figure that out.
I don't think you can. I think it's
the pitcher. What did you think about? There's so much has transpired. What did you think about this goofy rule of the
the
pitcher's
6 inning
Yeah.
rule. We talked about it.
It's never going to happen.
Well, you say that. Apparently the hubbub within baseball is that they are going to try to do it. Like that they are absolutely serious about trying
Well,
to do
that's
it.
stupid.
I probably
How
agree
do you
with
get
you
a
about
pitcher a win and make it so that it has value? Would it have something to do with how many runs your team scores?
that. How? What?
Like he pitched in a game. How about if he pitched? How about if his team never trailed? Does that add any credence to it?
No, because
No.
how do you give a statistic to a pitcher based on what the offense does?
Because he held the lead. He was given a lead, and it never.
Well, but we have hold statistics. We have.
I gotcha.
I just don't think that the win statistic can ever matter again because have to openly acknowledge. It's like talking about. It would be like judging a quarterback by how his defense played. It's nonsense. It's a nonsense statistic for judging the performance of a pitcher. It's irrelevant.
Gotcha.
Like we have statistics that are quality start is a good statistic.
that's a real statistic.
It's a helpful statistic in determining whether a pitcher is good or not. But pretending like
No, I agree with that.
We-
and what's the quality start now? 6 innings?
6 innings, 3 runs.
3 runs,
Yeah.
3 earned runs or less,
Yes.
and that's it?
That's it. So you could give up 10 hits in those 6 innings.
Yeah,
and
that's
still get a
kinda
quality
stupid.
start, which is silly. I agree with that. It's still better than the win statistic, but we just have too many
How about a
good
quality
statistics.
start would be 6 innings and
Less than a 1.25 whip.
well, 6 innings and how about you said 6 innings and a minimum of 6 innings and no more than 15. No, that wouldn't work. Run 6 innings. No more than 10 runs, hits, or walks combined.
That's
How about that?
interesting.
How about if you pitch 6 innings
I don't
and
know.
you give up no more
Yeah.
than 3 earned runs
Right.
or no more than runs, hits, and walks equaling 10.
I got to think that math through first. I was to understand there would be no math.
Because obviously you didn't go to Coward Hall. You
Right.
can
It's a great point.
you can have a quality start and lose.
Yeah.
I'm not even so sure. I'm not even so sure 3 runs is good. Honestly, I think that's high.
You think 3 runs is high?
Yeah, I think if you give up 3 earned runs
Over
in
6
in
innings?
6 innings,
Then
yeah.
nobody's ever getting a quality start again in the history of baseball.
Well, then we might have to change it. That's my point.
Like, it's
That's
over.
my point. Might have to change it.
I think most people would argue at this point that 4 earned runs probably is going to give somebody a quality.
No, we got to change it.
If you created the scenario where
Well, then let's come up with a different category. It's called one the super quality start.
there we go. Now that's an idea.
3 earned
A
runs.
really quality start, a quality-er start.
No, 3
More
earned.
quality start.
3 earned runs is right at the league average, right?
More
3 earned runs in 6 innings is 4.5 and 9.
right.
That's average. That's league average stuff.
I agree.
That's not good.
Again, there's difference. It's quality start. It's not brilliant.
It's
start.
okay start.
It's quality start, and nobody's going.
It's an
9
okay
innings.
start.
The idea is that you have
It should be changed to 2.
just say nobody's ever going to get a quality start.
No.
again.
Plenty of people are going to
Dean
get.
Kramer would've
Dean
gotten
Kramer
one
would have
last
gotten one.
night. That's
Plenty
good.
of people. We're afraid to do this because we never. This is going to get back to what's wrong with the country. We're always
There we go.
afraid to move the goalposts
been a
because
while.
people get nervous. Because now all of a sudden you're hurting someone's feelings. Because we can't hurt anybody's feelings.
It's not about it.
So pitchers' feelings will get hurt.
I don't think it's about
Move it
hurting
to
somebody's
2.
feeling. I think it's about
And demand more. And there's another problem with the country. We don't demand enough from people.
Why not? Why stop it at 2? Why not go 0?
That could be a super duper quality start. But
Like
the
super
quality
duper
start
looper.
of the equivalent of a 4.5 run ERA, that's not quality.
Okay, but you understand that the point is that if you turn it over to a bullpen and you have a good bullpen,
Yeah,
then you don't
bullpen,
think
schmollpen, I get it. Again, there's another thing wrong with the country. Somebody else has got to come in.
that we
I hit
have to have a bullpen.
Somebody else has got to come in
So
and do
so
the
you're
work
going
for you
full-
when the times when it
You're
starts
going
to get.
full Jim Palmer now. These guys should, in order to get a quality start, it should be 9 innings.
Is that what he says? Yeah. Oh well, probably does. No, but that's just another thing wrong with the country. Is now at the crucial moment, somebody else has got to come in and do your work for
Right,
you.
that's a great point. You can't even finish the job yourself. My God, I thought this was America.
Well,
I thought this. I don't know how.
I'm not saying you got to go to 9.
Dean Kramer got a man of the match.
I'm not saying you got to go 9, but I just think 6 innings and giving up 3 earned runs, it's just tepid. It's not. There's nothing. There's nothing great about that.
Again,
There just isn't.
It doesn't say great start. It says
Yeah.
quality start.
I don't know
It
that-
doesn't say brilliant start. It doesn't say amazing start. It simply says quality start. That's all. And again, I could argue if you got lucky and only gave up 3 runs despite putting 10 guys on base over those 6 innings, that maybe we should go back and rewrite the quality start rule and say you can't just get lucky and earn a quality start. Like a quality start has to actually be quality. Dean Kramer was actually quality last night. That was legitimate. He put 5 guys on base over 6 innings.
Yeah, that was
That's
good.
a sub-1 whip. That's really good.
Right.
And they needed it badly. Like, yeah, you pray that what you've seen from Dean Kramer and Albert Suarez, his last 2 starts, Suarez's last 3 starts, is legitimate because, my God, are they going to need it for the coming weeks. Of course, more bad news yesterday is Zach Eflin.
Eflin's fine.
Goes to the What, you're
He's
a doctor now,
fine.
too? On top of everything else?
He's fine.
You got your doctorate?
He's fine.
What do you mean he's fine?
He's going to miss a couple starts. He's
But
fine.
They don't. You know, that means that they have to start Cole Irvin today, right?
Well, they already got Cole Irvin.
What do you mean they already got Cole?
Yeah,
Irvin?
he pitched the other night. Trevor Rogers.
Well, yeah, it's correct. We already have Cole Irvin at home. I get it. I understand what you're saying.
That guy. You talk about somebody desperately needing a quality start.
Well,
He was actually okay the other night.
No, he wasn't.
He
he wasn't.
He wasn't.
My God!
Okay,
After
hold on,
everything
hold
you
on.
just
I know,
said
hold on.
about moving the goalposts,
Let me finish.
You're going to try to pass that off as being okay?
I'm basing that off of what we saw the first 4 starts. But overall, yeah, you're right. No. But if Santander tries for that ball in the first inning, the whole thing might have been different.
He did try for
No,
it.
he didn't.
He did try for it.
He did not.
It hit him in the glove.
He didn't try for
He
it.
did try, yes.
All right.
He tried. He just didn't make the play.
All right.
So That's what we're gonna try to do to make it seem like Trevor.
I actually meant the home run, not the ball he missed.
Oh, that one.
That was a catchable.
I don't think it was.
I think it was.
I don't think it was.
I think it was a catchable ball.
I think that.
Okay.
I don't.
We'll just disagree.
I'm trying to think about.
You're a homer anyway.
Yeah. How is this homer?
Excuse me.
What does this have to do with being a homer? I'm trying to think of whether or not I think it would be a catchable ball for like a tall center fielder. I don't even know that I think it was a catchable ball for a tall center fielder.
We'll just
I
disagree.
definitely don't think it was a catchable ball.
I didn't know you were a card-carrying member of the Santander fan club.
Well, he's very good. I'm not sure
he
if you
is.
noticed.
Could he hit 50 homers?
Maybe.
It's
It's
close.
possible.
It's going to be close.
If September is his June, yes.
Well,
Like
he'll
he will.
definitely
Yeah.
hit 50 home runs in that scenario. I don't think he even has
Are
to.
you working Sunday, the golf show?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
We might only do 1 hour because Ethan is in the club championship.
I don't know if that's allowed. You're going to have to talk
No,
to
I'll talk
You're
to
going to
him.
have to talk to the powers that be over there.
I will.
It's, I think that's a pretty critical 2 hours every week, they say. Like, it's
What?
make or break for the whole
It
station.
is the playoff season.
Oh, that's right. How could I forget about that?
Correct.
This, of course, is the...
BMW.
That's the one. That's the one. What year is it
Second
back?
one.
What year is it
Next
back?
year.
Next year. Back here.
Yeah, Caves Valley.
I'll go to it. I did the last time. I'll go again. I'll pretend like I know who the golfers are.
How's your kid?
It's fine.
Is he all right?
It's like nothing ever
Ethan had
happened.
pmonia too.
Did he end up in the
He didn't
hospital
go-
for 10
he
days?
didn't go in the hospital. Your kid was in the hospital
Lung-
for 10 days?
8 days. 8 days.
Holy cow.
Lung infection. It was awful. It was just awful.
And did it just start from like a cold? no?
Yeah. It started when we were at the beach. It started when we were at the beach. Like he just would go from 0 to 100, right? Like he would be running around like a maniac, and then all of a sudden he'd crash. I'd be like, that's weird, but it's kid stuff. Like you see that
Right.
with kids all the
Right.
time. So I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And apparently it's a bacterial pneumonia, right? And like, so who knows? So we get back. He's still coughing. We're like, we take him to the hospital, and we didn't take him to the hospital. We just took him to the doctor. The doctor said he's got pneumonia. We're like, all right, no big deal. So take him home, and it's just awful. He's just coughing.
No. He's
just-
got pneumonia. No big deal.
Right.
Right.
Well, get him on the antibiotic, and
Right. Yeah.
he'll be
It's
fine,
gone. Right. Right.
4 days later, it's the exact no progress. We're like, what the hell is
Wow.
happening? So we take him back to the doctor. The doctor's like, yeah, he's not breathing. Like, we gotta
Oh, good.
get him on oxygen.
Okay.
So we go to GBMC. The folks at GBMC are like, all right, there's a chance you'll have to spend the night, but we get him on the oxygen.
He'll get going.
Everything will be all fine. Then just from there, they're like, yeah, we cannot take him off the oxygen. We got him on. They had him on 3 liters. Like it was
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
And we're just like, what is going on? They said he had a lung infection. It blocked 3 of the passages in his lungs. It was brutal. And they were like, you can't send him home. He's not breathing. Like, it's the way it's going to go. So we're there for 8 days.
Huh.
8 days. trying to
Which
get it
kid
right.
was it?
My older son, Graham. But all's fine now.
Figures.
Like a week. Oh, yeah. You've seen enough in that kid that you had some questions.
Soft.
You had some real.
Where's the Kobe? Where's the Kobe meme? Soft.
A week later. By the way, he was right back at Old Calvert Hall Sports Camp.
Ready to go, right?
Ready to go. It's like nothing happened. He did have to take a day off. He got on Wednesday.
Well, at least you convinced your wife of that.
What?
Coward Hall.
Oh,
got him to the right camp.
Yeah, you sure.
When I said Coward Hall to her that night, she almost hit me.
Almost.
But you guys can go ahead and send him over there if you want the other place.
I can't afford any of them, Drew. So I don't know why we're even having these conversations.
She's going to pay for it. Don't worry.
Yeah, is she? She thinks she can afford these things. Swear to God, she thinks she can afford things that she has no clue about. All right, what are we doing? We good? You got everything off your chest?
I mean, everything's good. Whatever you want to talk about.
How confident are you in Sir Anthony Dominguez as the closer?
I mean, you can't say he's better than Kimbrel because you might be better than Kimbrel. He'll lose a game for him when it matters.
We did the other night.
Yeah, but I mean when it really matters.
No. That one didn't matter.
One of the late Yankee games, or one of the games at Minnesota, or a playoff game. He'll lose one that matters. That's just what I think. Like I don't know. There's really no one else in the bullpen that I would give 100% faith to the way we did with Batista. When Batista lost a game, somehow it was a shock. None of these other guys, if they lost the game, would be a shock because you can kind of create the way that they would all cough up a game in the 9th inning. Perez would have one of those. He does this every 3 or 4 appearances. Perez would have an inning where he can't throw a strike, and he walks the first 2 guys, and then pressed because he has to throw a strike. He throws a strike, and the dude hits it down the
Pounds
right
it,
field
right,
line,
yeah.
and then that's it. So you can come up with all of these different ways, right? Of one of their pitcher, Kimbrel, it's easy.
Yeah.
You
You might as well start the inning with runners on second and
Right.
third
That guy
base.
Soto's terrible. So they're just in a quandary because they don't have a real closer. But I think Dominguez is as close. He has the look of one. He's probably as close as anything they have.
The issue with Dominguez, he's now given up 9 home runs this season.
Yeah, he just throws his fastball and says,
Right.
"Here it's come. Here
Right.
it comes." And if it doesn't have any movement on it at all, these dudes are going to hit it.
Which might be the argument for don't put him into tie games.
Got
right?
clobbered it the other night.
Well, yeah, he hit the
gosh.
crap out of it on
Yeah.
3-0. Like,
Did we throw at him last night?
No, I don't think so.
Should have.
Oh yeah, that's the.
After that
I
episode.
mean, he had a walk-off home run.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest.
What?
The dancing around was
That's baseball, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta get over that, man.
yeah,
That's
somebody
baseball.
somebody.
Yeah. That was 10 years
Wink,
ago,
wink.
100%.
Come on, wink,
Those
wink.
days are over.
How about the other night when Burns was getting into it with the umpire taking off his mask and saying "relax," and then looking over at Burns with this look like, "What are you mad about?" Did you see them?
I saw the back and
It
forth,
was
100%.
hilarious.
It was
The umpire looking over at Burns with this look on his face like, "I don't understand why you're mad."
Well, maybe the fact that your strike zone's awful.
Correct.
That might have something to do with it.
Correct.
It's an abomination. Look, man, I know that part of this is just people that hate. I've been through this thing with the people that just decided they hate Brandon Hyde, so everything, it's the weirdest. It's fetish.
Brandon Hyde have to do with it.
So like a lot of people last night or that night are saying, this is embarrassing that Corbin Burns has to be the guy to do this instead of Brandon Hyde. And it's all the same people that just hate Brandon Hyde. That's just.
Oh, you mean because he tried to temper Burns? You're talking
Right,
about because he turned around
He
and
sort
said,
of
"Hey,
said,
man,
calm
down."
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I think they wanted Brandon Hyde to get ejected.
Yeah, these
right?
people want Brandon
Yeah.
Hyde. But again, everything Brandon Hyde does is
right.
wrong for these people. It's not.
If he gets ejected right there, they're like, "Why didn't you do that 6 innings ago?"
Last night, it's why is Birch Smith facing JD Martinez when 3 weeks ago it was Birch Smith absolutely has to face this guy. Like, it's just whatever this guy does, I'm decided that I don't like this guy, so everything he does is wrong, and that's all I'm going
There's
to do.
some people in town that are like that with Mike Elias.
Not nearly as many. In fact,
Oh, you didn't get it. Never mind.
there's one, the one guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the one guy.
So here it's interesting. Here's what I would say about Hyde and baseball in general, that we as fans, I don't even want to say we don't get it. We're just, because we're not immersed in it, it's not part of the culture.
It's Horowitz. That's
There's
who it was the Birch Smith had to pitch to.
There's
so.
a respect level that is just inherent in the game that you're supposed to have for the umpires. There just is. And we on the outside, we don't have that at all. I certainly don't, for sure. I'm the first one to tell you I don't. But there's a respect level in the game that that sort of says you're not allowed to embarrass these guys, and you're not allowed to S on them. It's just not what we do. When you get to the big leagues, you treat them with respect. And that's why you don't. I mean, I'd get thrown out of every game. I watch these high school soccer games. 100%, I'd get thrown out of every game if I was the coach. 100%. But there's a respect level you have when you're at this level, and these umpires are out there, and it's such. And you and I have said this before. Like, it's amazing how many of the bang bang calls they get right.
No,
it's unbelievable.
It's remarkable.
And we just look at the 3 or 2 in each game that work against us, and we say, well, umpires are terrible. If they're terrible, they're generally terrible. It's always going to work out in the end. At the end of the 162-game season, if the Orioles got ripped off 7 times, the other team got ripped off 7. That's my belief. It always just comes around. But Hyde doesn't want to get thrown out of the game. He doesn't. People seem to forget that. He wants to manage the games. He doesn't want to get thrown
or
out
it's
of the
like
game.
this. There's this
You
weird
get thrown out of the game, by the way. You can't manage
that
it
you
anymore.
have an obligation to get thrown out of the game
No,
to
you
defend
don't.
your guys.
Right.
It's an interesting point.
You have an obligation to defend your guys, by the way.
Right.
I 1,000,000%. You have an obligation to defend your guys. No question. You have an obligation to, if a few calls have been missed, you have an obligation to chirp a little, to defend your hitter who just looked at strike three that wasn't strike three. Totally agree. You definitely, as the manager, you got to be, the players have to know that, and they have to be able to hear it or see it from you. Like this is not, we're not having this. But this notion that you should be getting thrown out of the game in some way to symbolically show just how fed up you are with it, that's hogwash. He wants to manage the game. If he gets thrown out in the fifth inning, he can't manage anymore.
I would actually argue that it's better to have one of the other starting pitchers be the guy to do it, because who cares if they get thrown out?
I would
of the
agree,
game.
but I wouldn't agree with that, because they're going to see these people again, and this goes back to, like, this is why a player, particularly I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Girardi. I remember watching a podcast. This is years ago. 3 or 4 years ago. He's probably was still with the Yankees. But this was Girardi talking about the relationship between catchers and umpires and how much different it is because you're with them all the time. And Girardi was talking about who was the guy that pitched for the Yankees? Oh gosh. Now he's with the Mets. What was the guy's name?
The guy that used to pitch for the Yankees.
Yeah, pitched for the Yankees.
Severino?
Severino.
Okay, got it.
He talked about Severino, and I forget what umpire he mentioned, but he talked about Severino having an issue with one of the umpires, and the umpire saying to Girardi, like, you need to calm him down. Get him calmed down. And then I don't even know who was catching at the time for the Yankees, said, they all got together and said to Severino, like, you got to relax. This guy's on your ass. And the catcher was the one that sort of had to manipulate that relationship a little bit. So it's just interesting player-wise. If you're the pitcher, the catcher's around them all the time. The pitcher's the one that's most susceptible to their mistakes, whether or not they're honest or intentional, right? It's just like we always say in the NFL when you're with Brady, right? We always used to joke around when Brady wants a flag.
Yeah, he's going to get a flag.
Waves
right
his
now.
arm and he gets a flag, right? So I just don't subscribe to this idea that believe me, I'm about as anti-umpire as they come, but I don't subscribe to the idea that you should just torture them and
I don't
light
know,
them up.
Well, I don't know what the answer is between that. Didn't you have an obligation to pretend like that guy was awful on Monday night?
No,
He's
no doubt.
terrible. He was terrible. In
No
fact,
doubt.
It's the only reason why you have any sort of positive feelings towards Trevor Rogers
100%.
is because Trevor Rogers was getting the benefit of a dreadful strike zone. So instead of being god awful, he was only awful, right? Like, I don't know what you do about that. It's also ironic, right? Like, and it wasn't lost on me when Corbin Burns called in yesterday and we started talking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, but I really like the human element." Like, you do? You do? You like because we saw the human element last night. You didn't like it.
Maybe that's what he was saying. He just really loves being able to yell
Yell
at
at
a
the
guy.
umpire.
Like,
But you know what
Aberdeen.
he's really saying, and because we've watched enough Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns is a master at where is this guy's strike zone. Let me manipulate where his strike zone is. I don't want to throw to the actual strike zone. I want to take advantage of a batter that hasn't adjusted to the fact that the strike zone is 2 inches below the knees, and I have adjusted to that, so I'm going to manipulate that part of my game. We've watched Corbin Burns do that all season.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of the robot umpires.
But I don't get this is what happens if you don't have robot umpires. It's just going to be this.
What's this?
It's going to be
occasional
scenarios. Occasional. It's awful. It's awful.
You're talking about widespread awful?
Yes.
Across the league?
It's widespread
You think so?
awful. Yes.
I disagree with that.
This is
I
nonsense.
totally disagree with that.
Balls and strikes are awful.
I disagree with that.
Awful. I mean, utterly awful.
You're wrong on that.
They're terrible,
No,
man.
you're wrong. A couple of them are awful.
No.
You got to look at the
No,
umpire scorecard.
you got it.
you're off.
No.
Yeah, you're off.
We've got it. we've got way too much. The umpire scorecards are.
Umpire scorecards. Give me a break. Who's creating those? Some goof in his basement?
Yes, some goof in his basement, Drew. That's exactly what it is. We'll dismiss fact because it doesn't affect our opinion.
No. But they're not awful. This is just semantics. We're just going to argue about what they are. They're not awful. They're just not.
Okay, so what do you think it would quantify as awful? What percentage of calls being wrong to you would quantify as awful?
Are you just talking balls and strikes?
Yes.
I would say if you miss 40% of them.
Okay, then we're in a. If you're missing 40% of balls and strikes, you shouldn't be allowed the umpire in the little.
Yeah, that number might be off. It might be. Maybe it's more like 20.
If it's 10%,
maybe it's more like 20.
If 10% of the plays in a game are impacted by a call being wrong, the sport might as well be fraudulent.
How many pitches are there in a game? I'm asking. I don't even know. How many pitches are there in a game? 200?
More than 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like 250.
And now I'm getting a better idea what the numbers are. So if it's 225, if the umpire misses 15 of those, that's a lot.
So last night,
that's what I would
we'll
say.
just go through some of these.
Okay.
Mariners Dodgers last night.
Dodgers won.
There were 181 taken pitches. So not
okay.
contact.
So now
where there was a call
all right,
made.
So now I'm messing up.
Right.
But go
181 pitches that were taken.
Okay.
What would the number if the 181 pitches were taken? How many of those can be wrong for you to not think that it's awful?
Gotcha. Now we're really zeroing in on this. 181 pitches were taken, meaning the umpire was forced to make a call.
Yep.
How many of those had to be wrong for it to be awful? 15.
Yep. And 17 were wrong.
Okay, that was awful.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
That was awful.
Now, if I'll be fair, this
is what we do. Right.
In the White Sox-Giants game,
White Sox got beat.
They do that a lot. I don't know if you heard. Only 7 were wrong. So,
okay.
So that would qualify for you. In the Rays Athletics game last night, how were there only 92 taken pitches?
I guess it was a quick game.
It was a 1-0
game.
game. Sorry, there were only 92 taken pitches. 10 of them, 11% of the pitches taken in that game were called incorrectly. 11%. Awful. You are impacting
I just don't agree with that.
significantly impacting baseball games by this number of calls being wrong. Flatly wrong. And everyone's seeing it. It's not a football game where, hey, they could be holding on every play if you really wanted it to, but there's 22 guys on the field. There's one thing happening. We have the ability to fix it. We just choose not to because tradition or whatever. It doesn't actually make the game better in any way. I understand Corbin Burns' argument because, again, he wants to manipulate.
So there would be an umpire behind the plate still, in your mind, still calling balls and strikes, but if he misses one, the guy whistles in his ear and says, by the way,
fix it. Fix it. You were wrong.
That's what he says.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. You're saying that's the answer.
100%.
So he's still there calling balls and
He's
strikes.
still there.
Well, if it was fully automated, the buzzer would tell him right away.
Well, they could do it that. I don't care which way they do it. Either one of those ways is fine by me. I do still think there should be an umpire there because there's going to be a play at the plate. Like, this notion that there's not going to be a need for a home plate umpire, at some point, you're going to have a call at the plate, and you're going to want an umpire there to call it. Like, you're going to want that.
We could do what we used to do in wolf football and put a lawn chair there as the catcher.
That would be an option.
And if it hits the chair.
It
hits the chair.
We've upgraded technology. We have those, they can throw the ball, like it's a rubber-ish.
If it hits the chair, in the old days in the Ravage's yard, if it hit the back part of the chair, it was a strike. Yeah. I don't know how much more clear it's got to be.
You know what? I'm listening. I'm doing that with my son now.
I just don't know how. I mean, it hit the back of the chair.
Right.
It's a strike.
It's a strike. I understand that.
No, it hit the arm. That's still a strike. It's still within the boundary of the.
I'm telling you, this is all impacted by the fact that I watch so much tennis. Like, it is the best thing that ever happened to the sport. There is no John McEnroe anymore. There is no more. It is very simple.
By the way, when's the last time that your massage therapist it rubbed something on you that gave you tested positive for steroids.
Yannick Sinner had a. He was. Everything's good.
How about the fact that they let him go?
They never even brought it up. It was never reported.
Oh my God.
Well, they let Richard Gasquet.
Oh, that's the best one of all. Yeah. Well, I didn't do cocaine,
I kissed
I kissed a girl who had been doing cocaine. And that's how it got in my system.
That checks out. Have a nice day.
Yep.
Yeah, right. We're good with it.
All right, anyway.
But tennis is proven it's either in or it's out. It's either a strike or it's not. There's no need for this argument. There's no need for any of this. It's all over. The pitchers, it makes sense. It makes sense that the pitchers don't want to change it. Because Corbin Burns says, if the strike zone is 2 inches lower, it behooves me
to
who
doesn't want to change it?
Well, I do, for sure. Bettors would. I think most people would like the games to be called correctly.
Just say bettors.
It's not just bettors.
But pretty much it is.
I think most people that watch sports would like for the calls to be
But it's
right.
pretty close to bettors.
They do.
People that bet on the games want to make sure they're on the up and up. I mean, let's be honest.
All right, we come back.
It's all about betting.
We'll play Would You Rather Wednesday. Drew's here. I don't know what else.
This is fun.
Is it?
I tell you, I have really missed this.
Have you? That's one of us.
I've been so removed. Now, when I was at Deep Creek, we did watch the games. We did watch the Oriole games. Mm-hmm. I've been so removed. Have the Ravens played yet? I've been so.
I know they played, and I haven't watched a snap.
Isn't it? I know we got to take a break, but isn't it unbelievable? And we've been off the air. Well, you're still sort of on the air. But we haven't been on the air at a regular radio station / full-time, whatever you want to say.
Okay, full-time, fine. I'm like, I do 2 days a week.
Okay, what? Right. Well, that's not even real. The girl carries the show.
Fair.
But no, isn't it amazing how within the last 15 years, I'll just say that, isn't it amazing how much less we care about the Ravens preseason than we used to? The Ravens.
You know what? Let's hang on. Let's talk about it on the other side.
All right.
Because somebody brought that up to me. I'm willing to have that conversation. I can't believe I'm going to go somewhere that you suggested, but we're going to do that when we come back in, and we'll play Would You Rather Wednesday. Today's show brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Stop stressing out about your fantasy football draft, where it's going to be, who's going to bring what. Are the family going to be there? Are you going to be stuck outside in the heat? Stop stressing about it. Just tell everybody in the league, we're going to Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. We're going to get our choice of all-you-can-eat entrees, plus drinks taken care of, plus draft kit taken care of, plus trophy for the league winner, plus a $75 gift card for the commissioner. So you kind of end up coming out on top for coordinating the whole thing. Go right now, PressBoxOnline.com/social. It'll link you to where you need to go to sign up or to find out more. PressBoxOnline.com/social. Let them take care of it for you. Drew's here, Glenn Clark Radio.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to the 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring locally sourced food at the Fresh Food Fest, a beer, wine, and spirits showcase, shopping, and fun for all ages. Check out the Maryland Corgi Cup, interactive kids corner, and more. It's the place to be in October. Visit maryland5star.us for tickets.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
There he is, Agent 00 Chicken. Nothing can keep him from Royal Farms Chicken Palooza. Because right now, he can get a 3-piece world-famous chicken box for just $8 with a portion of each sale donated to a local charity. Plus, register to win world-famous chicken for a year. Come to Royal Farms Chicken Palooza. It's a real thriller, but it's only for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens star safety Kyle Hamilton, detailing his path from growing up the son of a basketball player to choosing football, being overlooked in the draft, and turning into a defensive unicorn as a playmaking Swiss Army knife in the NFL. Also inside, meet college football players from all of the area's D1 programs and some of the area's college soccer standouts as well. PressBox is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR. We move into hour number 2 of the program. Drew Forrester from Drew'sMorningDish.com is here. You got anything that
10-year anniversary coming up Sunday.
Of Drew'sMorningDish.com?
10 years. You believe that? 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. And look at everything that we've accomplished.
Look at where we are.
You've, I've.
Yeah.
Have you gotten better at golf, Drew?
But Ryan.
No.
No? Oh.
For sure, no.
Look at everything we've accomplished.
Yeah, right.
10 years.
Right.
All of the amazing
I thought
things
getting
that
fired
occurred.
would help my golf game, but I guess it did for a while.
You made the U.S. Senior Open. I mean, that happened.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give you credit for anything, but that was something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right.
You guess I'm right. Like, that's a thing.
I just wish if he was. I wish. My only regret, people always say, "Do you ever regret getting fired?" I say, "Yeah, I regret that it wasn't in June, because the whole summer went by.
Would have had some more time, right?
Yeah.
100%.
So
that would have been.
It's like a lost summer.
Sometimes people will have a conversation. Will come up like the option, what I could have done, the options that were on the table for me after it happened. So I think I've talked about it before. 3 things that popped up in the coming months. One was I had an offer to go to Louisville.
Okay.
To do mornings.
It's Louisville, but it's fine.
It's not.
Okay.
It's certainly not. It's
Okay.
Louisville. That's what it is.
All right.
I could have gone to Louisville, and I loved it down there. Like that.
Yeah,
it's one of
Louisville's
my
a nice
favorite
place.
places. But I had a kid on the way, and my wife was like, "Yeah,
we're not going to
you'll be going on your own.
You're not going to be Terry Ford.
You'll be on your own."
Right.
I had an offer in San Diego.
Oh. Well, that's your fault.
Now, this was the San Diego offer was complicated. No, I had an offer in Vegas. The Vegas offer required me to also run a Spanish-speaking sports station.
Okay, well, that's not hard.
No.
You just don't know Spanish.
No, that would be the issue.
Just hire some Spanish people.
That would be the issue.
Right.
It's that I have no ability to do that. So that was the offer in Vegas. And then the other one that I had, and I've talked about it before, is the Sean Stepner, the job that he has at Channel 2. I was offered that job. And I was like, well, I don't know if you know, I've never done any of these things before.
Right. Yeah, you would have failed at those for sure.
Like, I've never, because he has to do all of it by himself. He doesn't have a camera person. He doesn't have an editor. He's got to do all of it on his own. They were like, well, you got to do all of it.
I just remember upstairs, we got into this very, very brief debate about email. Very brief.
Oh, I never got back into mine.
I did, because I said my entire life is on that email, and that's totally my fault. I'm the first one to admit that I don't have Drew Forrester at yahoo.com. So I'm the first one to admit, but I also didn't know you were going to fire me today.
Right.
And I need to get into my email. Can't get into your email. I'm like, I need to get into my email because I have Calvert Hall stuff in there. I have personal stuff in there that I need to extract. And you can't get into your email. I said, if you're worried about me having privileged information about the clients that I've brought to the station, I have all their cell phone numbers.
Yeah, I'm good. Right.
But I need to get in. He said, you can't get in. I said, okay. And then I've got a friend of mine who's an attorney. He'll call you, and he banged his fist down on the table, and he said, we don't need attorneys. We could do this civilly. I said,
yeah, we can.
We
right,
could
100%.
do this civilly.
Yeah,
you mean civilly after you just fired all these people without any notice?
Correct.
The girl who just signed a lease in Federal Hill, the guy who's having a baby in a month. Civilly.
Civilly.
And I said, I got to go. And I did get into my email, and in full credit, give him credit. I got 3 hours.
That's what you got.
You got 5 hours. You got till 5 o'clock to get into your email. I did what everybody would have done in that case. I got all those emails of the sponsors.
Right. Went right through. That's exactly what you did. Exactly what you did.
Oh, Lord.
I never, because it would have required me having a conversation. And that was
That
was not going to happen.
I just remember being down there when he goes, we're going to part company. This is our last day together. I just went, all right. Okay.
Yep.
I went to go up the steps. He goes, don't you want to talk about it? I'm like, not really. Nope. I don't know what you want me to say.
The funniest thing about that day was when he said, well, he did say to me, he's like, well, if you ever need a recommendation.
Yeah.
And I said to him verbatim, it won't be from you.
Yeah, he goes, you ever need a recommendation? That's like, what's his name saying when, said, when Joaquin Phoenix said, next time I'm here, I'll do some of my rap music. And Letterman goes, somehow I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not going to be a next time. Really thought.
Do you need a recommendation? Yeah. I got some high praise coming from you.
You and the son of Sam, right?
Yeah,
like, you and the...
Right.
You don't understand. I want the job.
Right.
Like, if it's a job, I'd like to have it.
And I'm just sure you'd sing my praises.
I don't...
Come on. Anyway, all right. Let's talk about the Ravens.
So you ask why it is that, or not why, but you point out.
I didn't say. I said point out. It's incredibly
so I had it
different.
This came up. So I went out there yesterday because it was the final day of training camp. And I was like, wow, I haven't gone out once. I better go out there and let her remember. And it was lovely seeing everybody and people that I
how's Marisol doing?
I spent a lot of time talking to Marisol. I love Marisol. I love Marisol. One of my favorite people.
Who are all the who is everyone now? What's the roster?
Chad, Patrick, Tom.
Those guys are all still there.
Still there. Marisol's still there. I don't know any.
But Marisol doesn't. Is she full time? She doesn't work full.
She's still
full-time. Oh, she is.
She's always.
I thought there was a reason. I thought at some point she wasn't full time.
I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't tell
so
you that.
Tom's still there.
Tom's still there.
Wow.
They're all,
okay.
they're all
Tom's a good man.
So anyway, I go over. I see. It was good to see everybody.
Okay.
And our friend Tim Barbalay, so 1057, was also out there yesterday.
Okay.
And so he starts talking to me. Tim,
how's he doing?
You're doing your Coleman and making it Tim.
Sorry.
That's what you're doing there.
Okay.
So I start talking to Tim. You don't know that Tim was a big-time listener of the old radio station.
Okay.
Like, he was a huge fan of all of ours, which is very funny, right?
Okay.
So
there was one.
Yeah, there was one.
All right.
That's Greg Bader said so.
Right. He put his finger on my chest.
Right. So
you have one listener.
Right. So
yeah, Greg.
On a good day, yeah.
You guys have 31,000 here for the home opener against Tampa Bay.
All right. Let's not do this. Let's not do this.
That was the day, though.
The Orioles are good. Everything's going swimmingly. And so we're talking about it. We're like, it's hilarious because Tim's like, I got to take notes because I got to do these call-ins, and I'm just sort of laughing at him like, what are you going to pretend to like? What
take
in the
notes.
God name? What are you going to pretend to talk about when you?
But
do these
he's
call-ins?
you 20 years ago. He loves sports.
But the point that I said is there was a
thinks
time
it matters
he did not remember that we would literally have Casey do this once an hour. An hour.
Oh, we sent Chuck Harmon down there. We sent Chuck Harmon to Westminster.
Chuck Harmon.
He was the Ravens reporter.
That we would do it
baseball umpire
once an hour. We would say you've got to.
And by the way, if you were 8 seconds late, Paul would be in there looking at you.
100%. You've got to call in. And you've got to give the whole rundown and do the exact same thing.
I can't believe you just said that. Like that.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yep.
Or, sorry, to 8 p.m. From 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Hourly.
hourly training camp reports. They were sold. And you had to come up with, and every hour on the dot at the bottom of the hour, we would say,
go live.
all right, now we go back out to Westminster, and here's Chuck Harmon, here's Casey Willett, and it ended up being for every hour, and pretend like anything. But the truth was, we didn't have to pretend, because back then
it did matter.
People really wanted that content.
If that dude tweaked his hamstring and he's out and can't play, we're dead.
Now, so we were talking about, and I had this conversation with somebody else last week, and it wasn't just Tim. It was fun. I was like, wow, we just talked about this. What killed that? Did Twitter kill that? Because then you have all the updates.
Okay,
right?
So a couple of things killed it. Yes. Short version, yes. Twitter killed it. It's a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing
There's
it always
multiple
is.
slices,
It's always
right?
a pizza. Twitter killed it. The team killed it. The team wanting to project their own message and image, and the team wanting to control. And that I know they bristled. I talked to Kevin last week, which I thought, by the way, that was a great touch.
It was lovely, yes.
They always bristled at the word control.
I heard the actual press box itself.
Not very good.
Not just the view. There's other, it's not functional.
Okay.
They
got some work to do.
It was built incorrectly.
Okay.
It can't function as a press box, is what I'm to understand.
So, but they bristle at the word control, and I get it.
You don't want to be seen in
someone
state
saying,
media, right?
I know who's in control in the Clark family, your wife. The word control gets people very, very jittery.
How little do you know it's the kids?
But that is what they do.
Yeah,
it just is. It doesn't mean we don't like you anymore or less.
It's part of it.
But you want to control the message.
It's definitely part of it.
And I'll tell you what else killed it. And I really firmly believe this.
I do think that just the move, the
100%. 100%.
It didn't make it matter any more or less. The truth is,
100%
at some point, we were all going to recognize that nothing that's happening here actually matters. There's nothing.
But moving the team changed the way people looked at training camp.
Correct.
It just did.
It took it from being a state fit. What really happened was the event mattered. The event of training camp mattered, even if the football did not.
But it also compartmentalized it. That training camp is from whatever the date, July 25 to August 25. And I know it's those dates because I know they're in Westminster.
Right. And I could go up on a certain
day. And if I want to go,
if I wake up one day and say, I'm not doing anything, I might throw the kids in the van and drive out to Westminster and spend my day out there.
You'd go today. It's 72 degrees with no humidity. Get in a car, drive out there, watch some football for 4 hours, go to Boggers or wherever to eat, and come home.
And there was a festival atmosphere there.
No doubt.
It
totally changed it. Totally. I am in lockstep with you on that. The move changed the way people looked at training camp. The team also changed the way people look at training camp.
Well, and the league did too.
And the league and social media and it all.
Right.
And now, again, if someone gets hurt right now at practice, you're a media member, you either against their rules quickly tweet it out, or you go to your car and tweet it out, and it's out.
Right. Correct.
And here we go. Instead of waiting, let me listen into the radio at 9:30 to hear what did Lamar show up today or not.
You add in the fact that the preseason games became what they became.
And here's another slice. Right. The Orioles are a slice.
Well, right now they are for sure. Yeah.
People back then. Pick the date you want to pick, and I'm not even going to argue with you. But back then, on June 15th, the Orioles were done.
Yep.
We stopped once school let out, and the Orioles were already 21 games out, or 16 games.
That was if people really cared to begin with in April. A lot of those years, it was going through the motions. It was all right. The games are happening, so we'll talk about them. But the truth is, no one's watching. No one cares because the team isn't good enough to care.
But I would say we.
Well, yeah.
Looking back on what this was always the thing when people would say that we hate the team.
Right.
Nothing was further from the truth than that.
Right.
We this. We talked about the games like this is the funniest part. We talked about the games like they did matter.
Right.
When they were 20 and 39, and they lost a 4-run lead in the 7th inning. We came in the next morning and we talked about the games like they matter.
Sometimes we got a little content adjacent. We'd say, boy, we can't talk about the game, so we have to come up with something else.
Yeah.
That led to us to Apologist of the Morning and things like that. Like, we did some adjacent content, but we did everything in our power.
But that's because they were terrible.
Correct.
We had to do that, or we would not have had anything to do.
Correct. We did everything in our power to have Orioles content until the Ravens came back around, and there was something to talk about with the Ravens.
But June 15th, July 1, whatever, the Orioles just became a nothing burger.
But yeah,
so the Orioles have impacted it too.
The Orioles
in
have
the last 5
but
years.
it's also the nature. Like, I was on the sort of the front end of this doesn't matter, and people got mad at me about that.
And then so to go back to take it one step further. One of the reasons why the interest is down is the teams themselves.
They're openly telling you it doesn't matter.
Correct.
They're telling you that.
Correct.
They're not even trying to bamboozle you anymore.
Right.
They're just telling you this is irrelevant.
Right. They've reduced the amount of games.
Yeah.
No, which is fine. No, none of the starters play, which is fine. Like the league has told you the preseason doesn't really matter. There's no need for you to get excited about it. And there's also it's also a byproduct of the fact that the interest level in general between Labor Day and middle of February or whatever, but the interest level is so outrageous because of fantasy football and gambling and the saturation of the games on television, Monday night, Thursday night, whatever night, like that. It's at some point, no matter how much. I'm the same way with golf. I am the exact same way. I am P1 times 25 golf. I haven't watched a golf tournament in 4 weeks.
You didn't watch the Olympics?
I did watch the Olympics.
Okay.
I did watch the Olympics.
Okay.
But I haven't watched who just won.
You're asking me. You do the show. Oh, yeah.
Matsuyama won. Yeah. In all fairness, Saturday and Sunday I was playing in a tournament, and Thursday and Friday it just didn't interest me. Like I haven't watched it because I got my sponge was totally full from January until the British Open. British Open's the last event I watched, but then I did watch the last 2 days of the Olympics. And I think people are like that with football. I really do. I think, and I'm not, and by no means am I saying people care less. They don't care less.
Right.
They care more about football than they've ever cared.
But they care
Some
about,
of these morons are going to pay $700 for these packages.
Right. But they care about the actual football. They care
Correct.
about, right.
They care about the games. That's what they care about. And so the league has done this to people a little bit. The teams have done it a little bit. And it's kind of funny how this all comes full circle, because one of the biggest arguments that you and I and other people in the media would make if we had a brain back in the old days, and we still go through this today when people say about Harbaugh, like, you're never getting the truth out of Harbaugh when it comes to injuries. He's not going to tell you anything.
Correct.
Because for one reason, the only thing he cares about are the games.
That's a fact.
The teams just care about the games. The teams, they act like they care about what goes on out in the community, and they act like on Tuesdays we go out and we help build a new playground. They act like they care about all that because they have to act like they care about all that. What they care about are the games. So the funniest part is the actual fan base is almost now morphed into that, where all that other stuff, I don't care about any of that. Tell me on Wednesday who's playing so I can start setting my lineup. Tell me on Friday who's playing so I can start figuring out who I'm going to bet on. And then on Sunday, leave me alone.
Right.
Because I'm watching football the whole day.
Correct.
Yeah, right. So we're not worried about what happens in May, June, July, August. We don't care. Because we know that nothing matters except September. That's all that matters.
Well, they care about the draft. They care desperately
I said
about
May.
the draft. Okay.
I said May, June, July, and August.
All right. Now we're just doing the math.
Yeah, the April matters for sure.
Yep. They care through the draft. The draft matters a great deal. And then...
And I don't think the team... I could be totally wrong on this because I'm just throwing these numbers out. I probably even remember them.
I would say this hurts them more than they let on. right? Like this was the first year
Well, it hurts them in what way?
That they essentially exist as a non-entity for 4 months of the year. And it's easy for them to say, hey, we make so much of our nut the rest of the year that who cares if for 4 months of the year we're a non-entity. But it's not good.
Okay, but here's what I would say about training camp in particular. In particular, I have no idea what the cost was for them to to hold camp in Westminster, but it was a sizable number. It was a sizable number. You got to move a bunch of stuff out there. Yeah. You got to put guys up for 5 weeks. Yep. You got to feed them. And again, I'm just going to make the number up. I'm going to guess that was somewhere in the $250,000 range.
I think you're
more
on the shallow end of that.
Okay,
yeah, I think that's
maybe it's $500,000.
Yeah.
So now,
and with inflation, I would bet that's.
Oh well, sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Obama.
Yeah. Right. Great point.
But now they're getting.
I was going to say, is that him calling?
And I'm just going to. I'll just make up the number again. Like now, they go to Ford and they say, okay, for $2.5 million, here's what you get. Signage in the stadium. You get when we give the white towels away, we put the logo on it, and you're the sponsor of preseason at the facility, and it's the Ford fountain, Ford relaxation fountain where we squirt everyone with a hose because it's hot. And the Ford people go, we love it. So the team doesn't care from the team's probably making more money.
Oh, I don't disagree with
by
that
doing
whatsoever.
the event at Owings Mills. John 1,000,000% wants to do it at Owings Mills.
Yep.
No.
I don't think that. I don't think there's any world where it's going back to West. That's
no.
dead.
It's never leaving.
Like that's not happening.
Owings Mills.
But they do to me.
But I agree with you that something that's the nature of unintended consequences.
Right.
You wanted to make training camp more private, and you did that. And there's collateral damage associated with it. And people are just not as interested anymore. They're just not.
I would say,
but the league also has played a huge role now.
The league has a larger problem, and I know a little bit of the business of this. They had to slash some folks this year. Like that was a little surprising.
Well, they didn't have to.
Well, they particularly
did,
from the NFL media.
It's like ESPN slashing Sam Ponder. They didn't have to.
No, they sure didn't. They didn't have to fire RG3, who's actually good at what he does.
Right.
I would tell you that NFL media recognize that they're dead for a certain portion of the year, and while it seems like you'd be able to print money, you're the NFL, you can't make up for the fact that there's just not there's no interest. It's all forced. We lived in a world where we thought we wanted the NFL 24/7.
Well, it's like spring training baseball.
It's different than that.
But it's like it.
Yeah, it's different.
No one cares about spring training baseball.
That's not because spring training baseball, the players play. Like, it's not that. People watch spring training baseball. They're in on it because the players are playing. Like,
the games don't matter.
I understand that.
Although you can bet on them.
But you can watch.
Well, I heard you can bet on them.
Yeah, right. You've never done that. But you can bet on the preseason football games.
I know.
But the players aren't playing.
Which is crazy.
Like, that's the problem. The problem is I couldn't get my son, my 9-year-old, with free tickets to go to a football game.
By the way, did the dude come close to hitting that field goal, or was it no chance?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The other day when they lost.
Who lost?
The Ravens lost, and the guy had a 59 or 60-yard field goal at the buzzer.
I don't know anything about
not 50 yards. It was like, I want to say 40 maybe? I don't
know. No.
But when they lost to the Eagles?
No, just I know more about it than you, and you guys are in
Apparently.
sports. They lost to the Falcons on Saturday.
They beat the Falcons.
They beat the Falcons, Isn't that what I said?
No.
Yeah,
and
he knows sports.
No, but I said the dude
Young Wei Koo
missed
like 3 field goals. Young Koo missed
okay, but the
field
one to win the game
it might have
at
been
the
like
buzzer.
Extra point and 2 field goals.
How much did you bet on this? Why do you care?
No,
How much did you bet
so
on
they
this?
scored a touchdown.
Stop. We're
they
not
scored a
talking about
touchdown.
this.
They were down
How much
13-7.
Okay,
How much
hold on.
did you bet, and why do you
It's
care?
none of your business.
The Falcons were down 13-7. They
Okay.
scored a touchdown, or 13-6. They
Okay.
scored a touchdown. So the Falcons went for 2. It was like there was 5
No,
seconds.
no,
I thought he
Went
missed
for
the field
2.
goal at the buzzer.
No, Tavius Robinson got a stop at the buzzer.
No.
Why
Stop
would you
the
go
2-point
for
conversion.
2?
There we go.
Kick the friggin'
How much did you bet?
25.
There you go. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you. All right, it's time for Would You Rather Wednesday. We're giving away
Just
a $25
$25.
gift card to Glory Days Grill
Why you
for
take the under.
someone who
Take the under.
participates.
The glory days.
What's that? They didn't. Just one that's closed. The
Oh,
rest
oh.
of them are all open, Drew.
Oh, okay.
There's plenty of Glory Days grills.
There's one right by the airport.
There is. You can use it there. There's the one out in Carroll County. You can use it out there. There's plenty of Eldersburg. Thank you. I was trying to think of where exactly it was. I appreciate you letting me know. There's other Glory Days.
We have breaking oil news.
Do we?
Cole Irvin upgraded.
It's not breaking.
Like an hour ago.
That was, that was some time ago.
Delon Tate. Did he go back down?
Dylan. Yes.
Delon.
A lot of people are down. They had to get – somebody had to start today. That's what happened. Somebody had to start.
And
Dylan
it's Irvine starting?
Dylan had to Irvine. If you want to say that maybe after last night Birch Smith could have been the guy that got optioned, you could say that. But
he finally pitched like what you would expect a guy named Birch Smith.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness to him.
Right. This was always going to happen. All right, would you rather get your responses in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone who participates will win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. Numero uno, would you rather? Speaking of the Orioles, we talked about it a lot. After this season, they indeed sign Anthony Santander to a 5-year, $100 million extension and trade Heston Kjerstad for pitching help, or that's just too much money to give to Anthony Santander. Let him walk, commit to Kjerstad being your right fielder, and put the money toward pitching. Mm-hmm.
Give me one more time.
One scenario, 5 years. By the way, all of you Twitter geniuses, that's not going to be enough to sign Anthony Santander.
That's what they sound like.
Go ahead.
Shut up.
What'd you say, 5 years?
5 years, $100 million for Anthony Santander.
Yeah, that's not going to get it done.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it.
Might be 4 years.
5 years, 100. Maybe it is 5 years, $100 million for Anthony Santander, and trade Heston Kjerstad to try to get some pitching help, or keep Heston Kjerstad, make him your right fielder, let Anthony Santander walk, and put that money towards pitching.
Well, I'm going to say keep him.
Okay.
I'm going to say keep him, particularly if it's $20 or $25 million a year. It's not my money, but that seems pretty cheap. I'm going to say keep him. I know I sound like Peter when I say this, but I am
God,
leaning.
Are you really to say
I am going to say
every
it.
fifth day?
I'm leaning more and more towards. I'm leaning more and more towards saying.
But somebody has to pitch every fifth day.
Hold on a second. I'm leaning more and more towards saying if you are deciding between an everyday player and a pitcher, you should always go with the everyday player. So if your argument is keep Zach Eflin and give him $30 million a year, or give $30 million a year to Santander, I'm taking Santander. If it comes to that, now I'd like to keep them both. But if it just comes down to we got $30 million a year to give to one of these two, what do? You got to give it to the guy who plays every day, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
And I also am saying this a little bit based on the fact that I haven't seen anything from Kjerstad that tells me A, he's a competent defensive player, and B, I don't see anything in him that suggests to me he's a 35 home run a year guy. I know he's got power. I know he has been reasonably productive in the minor leagues. I get it. This is a little bit of better the devil you know than the devil you don't. I know what I'm getting with Santander. I know he's a competent defensive player. He's not great, but he's a competent defensive player. And I know there's all this data of, that says there's 7 balls this year he didn't get to. Okay. But he's a competent defensive player. He is a nice professional baseball player.
He's got a great arm. He is a fine.
He's a nice professional baseball player. I'm not going to say he's Paul O'Neill, but to me, he's like Paul O'Neill.
You're trading instead of being a contact hitter, he replaces that with a power hitter.
Yeah. I mean, I think he is a really competent baseball player. Well, let's keep him.
Okay.
I'm not convinced about that other kid yet. I'm just not.
Okay.
I don't think we've seen enough to say let him play 140 games out there next year, and you're going to get 37 homers, 95 RBI, and whatever the defensive metrics are. You're not going to get it. I don't think. So that's me.
Griffin?
I like Santander a lot too, just on a personal level. Like he's a great person. He's been with this team for a long time now. It would feel just so nice to be able to reward a guy like that too with something like this. I think it was Tim Kirchin we had on a few weeks ago, and he was talking about he's a known commodity. Plus he's a switch hitter, a power hitting switch hitter.
Yep. That part of that is very significant.
Yes. And I mean, I think Kjerstad can still be a great player. But I want the proven and known commodity, and Santander has earned those kind of numbers. I'd like Santander. I mean, are we trading Kjerstad for Trevor Rogers? Like,
That's
I don't
the problem.
know. Yeah.
You can only get what you can get. That's the issue here.
And if they keep Kjerstad, is it we using that money on the Japanese guy that everybody wants?
That guy's like, what is it?
Roki,
is it going to be like $35 per year for that guy? Something like that. Sasaki, I think it is.
Saki, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Number 2, I've seen the future. The Ravens are going to have a stunning first-time Pro Bowler this year. Would you rather it be rookie right tackle Roger Rosengarten or third-year and oft-injured edge rusher David Ojabo?
Stunning.
Thank you.
Stunning Pro Bowl season.
Dynamite Drew's sending texts.
I think
I know exactly what I'm going to say.
Well, maybe say it because you go first. Yeah,
I'm going first. I'm definitely keeping Santander.
Right.
This is
dynamite.
The Kjerstad.
It's dynamite.
The Kjerstad guy. I just haven't seen enough of him. Right.
Answer the question.
Give me Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum. What? You had a thought.
I have no idea. I'm actually going to back out of this because I haven't seen him.
But one of them, either the right tackle is going to be a Pro Bowler or the edge rusher is going to be a Pro Bowler. I'm telling you that. This would have been nice for him to be listening to the question instead of.
I'm still taking Santander.
Right. Appreciate it.
Well, I would rather see Ojabo because it's such a huge position of need for them that if we got a I now get it. The Pro Bowl is kind of a watered down thing, but if we got a Pro Bowl,
but I'm telling you, he becomes an impact player. Yes,
I know what you're saying. If we got a Pro Bowl performance from a rush end, I would take that in a heartbeat over the right tackle for now, and especially because I think this guy's window is closing. I don't think it's shut, but this is a huge year for that kid. If he doesn't do something this year, he might only have one more opportunity left. I would say.
All right.
So.
All right.
I'm gonna take Rosengarten. I mean, the offensive line has been my concern since the season ended, and we knew Moses and Simpson and Zeitler were all gonna be gone. I think that would be massive if Rosengarten proves to be a real right tackle, and that would make things easier. I imagine for Ronnie Stanley on the other side as well. So I'm going to take Rosengarten.
A couple of people that have argued for Rosengarten have said it's really actually more unique to. But then
I'm not as worried about the.
In that scenario, you now believe you have your left tackle of the future.
Okay.
Now
That's true.
It's about like I don't think Ronnie Stanley's going to be around for a long time, and now I think I might have my left tackle.
I think it could go both ways. He's a left tackle, and maybe I don't know if you're gonna flip Ronnie to the right side. I don't know what you could do. I think it could help. I think it would be beneficial for the entire offensive line. To have a bookend on at least one side, I'm worried about the pass rush obviously, but I think there's ways to there are ways around it. There are ways to get that pass rush. With Kyle Hamilton, who were we talking? Just was it Evan Washburn we were just talking to? And Kyle Hamilton's going to be part of that. Malik Harrison's going to be part of that, I think. And Van Noy's back. Owe apparently looks better.
Okay.
I think, but we don't need one guy in the pass rush to stand out. It can be effective as a committee.
So this is close, and am I more concerned about the O-line, the edge rush? I probably am, but it's still close to me. I think what ends up weighing this out is one of these guys is a third-year player, as Drew pointed out. Like that part matters here. Roger Rosengarten's not a Pro Bowler this year. That doesn't mean that he's going to suck. And it just might very well be that, like, by next year, he's a Pro Bowler, too. At some point, there is a David Ojabo, like, you're either a guy or you're not. That's a factor in all of this. And I get it. He hasn't played. We don't know that he's not. But you got to know. Like, you got to make a decision at some point. So I actually am going to lean to Ojabo on this one, but I acknowledge that it's close. And finally, number 3, would you rather you lost your fantasy football league last year, and you got to pay the punishment.
I won, actually.
And that punishment requires you doing something every day between now and the end of football season. Would you rather that what you have to do is go live on social media, all socials,
every day
at the same time, and perform the ray gun breakdance from the Olympics? Drew, are you familiar? I know you were. Yeah, I think you were culture warning or something.
No. I got to tell you, I thought there was something to that.
Yeah, you thought she had something going there. Justice for Ray Gun.
It's interpretive, right? It's dance.
Certainly, is it?
You remember Can't Buy Me Love?
Yeah, who am I to
The
argue
African
someone
Anteater
else's
dance?
who am I to argue someone else's art?
Right.
So either you've got to do that every day.
Okay.
Or same thing every day at the same time. This is a real thing that really existed in Chicago. You have to take a shot of cicada-infused Malort.
The hell's that?
Well, do you know what Malort is?
No.
Oh.
So every day I'm doing one of these things?
Yes.
I get to
Malort
pick.
is the single most disturbing alcohol that you will ever taste in your life.
Okay.
It is, the joke is, Malort, these pants aren't going to S themselves.
Okay.
Malort, because you wanted to punch your father tonight. Like, it's just as low-level gross, but it's somehow associated with, like, in Chicago, it's a thing. Malort. It's truly disturbing. And a Chicago brewery created a cicada-infused Malort this summer. Which,
Okay. And what's that mean? Is that, how do they, you
go
want to
ahead
show
and
me?
hang on a second. I'll let
Okay.
you let you take a look, and you can see that's what that cicada-infused Malort look like. It's exactly what you think it is. It's a cicada.
And you got to do what with it?
It's a shot.
And you got to do one a day?
Every day. Or you got to do the dance
So
every day.
I'm concerned about the long-term effects of like what that could have on like my palate, I guess.
It's one shot.
A day?
Yeah.
Every single day, yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
But it's not an you're not getting drunk. You're not.
I understand that, but I mean, like, it's going to taste awful.
Yes, I agree.
Well, how do you know it's going to taste awful?
'Cause
you told me that Oreo cookie and Spam thing was going to taste
Well,
awful.
I didn't know that.
And I wanted
Yeah,
another
you
one.
loved it. You loved it. I've had enough Malort in my life to know it don't grow on you. You don't
And
suddenly
is this
wake
like
up
the
one
stuff
morning
that Marilyn
and say-
Manson used to drink?
I don't know anything about that. I couldn't.
So
Absinthe or whatever?
Oh no, it's nothing like absinthe.
Okay.
I've had absinthe. It didn't do anything for me, but it wasn't this.
Okay.
This is a fit. This is challenging you to a fist fight. Like, you take a sip and God, what are you in next? Are you in next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Tell Jeremy we need some Malort for next
I
Wednesday.
still have some.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll bring you some Malort. Yeah. Yeah.
We need cicadas too,
It's
I guess.
truly- I guess.
Am I in
I
next Wednesday?
guess.
Maybe I'm not now.
Oh, that's real weird how that worked out. Quickly answer. We got to take a break.
Oh, I'll do the dance.
You're doing the dance. Griffin?
Yeah, I guess I got to dance. I'm not, yeah.
I wonder if you do the dance every day if you end up being good.
Right, I know.
Like,
Well,
you
like,
end
so-
up.
so
but
no-
I don't know that physically I'm capable of doing the dance.
Well, she wasn't either. So.
I understand that, but even that, I don't know if I'm physically capable at 40. I think I might have to do the shots. All right, what's your deal? Do you got to go because it looks like you're busy?
No. I'm good.
We have a guest, and I don't know if you're gonna have.
Oh,
anything
you
to
do?
offer.
Who do you got?
Jake Cunningham from the Aberdeen Ironbirds. I'm sure you got lots of questions.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, so you want to duck out?
Yeah.
All right, very good.
I'm busy.
Plug something.
Glenn Clark Radio. It's the best. It's the best time.
I really wish somebody would. Somebody said we have one listener.
It's the best time of your life.
So I could use some more plugs. Drew's Morning Dish, perhaps?
Yeah, drewsmorningdish.com.
10-year anniversary.
Coming up Sunday.
You want a gift?
Yeah.
I'll give you this Tiger Woods book. You can have it. The James Patterson Tiger Woods book. You can have
I'll
that.
take
That's
that.
my gift for you. Happy anniversary.
Because I could give it out as a gift.
He ghosted on us.
Who did? James?
Yeah. I was really looking forward to. I read the book too.
And?
Oh yeah. Wait till you find out he actually wins 3 more Masters.
Does he really?
It's crazy
I love it.
how that works
All right.
out. And you're on Sunday.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Ethan's in the club championship.
Get it. Good for him. It's about some time somebody in your family did something. Right? There's no shame on your family anymore. You can't take all the gift cards inside of it. I need those. Give me that. Give me the.
No, they're already.
No, there was. Gift card. Oh no, they fell out of it. All right, we're good. We're good. That was that. All right, we'll make a trip to Aberdeen. Chat with Jake Cunningham from the Ironbirds next. This is Glenn Clark Radio. Hey, O's fans, on Friday, August 23rd, come out to Oriole Park at Camden Yards and cheer on the Orioles against the Houston Astros at 7:05. Be sure to arrive early. The first 25,000 fans, 15 and over, will receive a Gunnar Henderson bobblehead presented by Royal Farms. Don't miss out on the last bobblehead giveaway of the season and start your weekend off right with an action-packed night of Orioles baseball. Buy your tickets today at Orioles.com/tickets.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
We've all experienced it before. The fantasy football draft from hell. Your buddy says you can do it at his house, but he never asks his wife. She's screaming at him the whole time and forces you guys to sit outside in the unforgiving heat. Then everyone brings the exact same store-bought 7-layer dip, and somehow you accidentally draft someone named LeVar Jackson because your brain can't function in these circumstances. Don't cop out and just move your draft online this year. Let Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel handle everything for you. Book your draft party, complete with your choice of all-you-can-eat entrees, drinks, and custom draft kits for the whole league, plus a custom trophy for your champion and a $75 gift card for the commish. Visit PressBoxOnline.com/social. That's PressBoxOnline.com/social, and never have a fantasy draft from hell again.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Frederick Keys Baseball is back. With 30 more home games beginning on July 2nd, the Keys are excited to welcome you back to Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. We want to see you there. Countless promotions will be on display every game, with it ranging from Tap House Tuesdays to Firework Fridays and everything in between. For more information or to buy tickets, call 301-815-9939 or visit FrederickKeys.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here as we continue along on a Wednesday edition of GCR. Thanks to Drew for hanging out with us. And if you haven't picked up the new print issue of Press Box yet, make sure you do it. Drew Forrester says it's better than participating in Glenn Clark Radio, because that's what he normally does every week, is just read the print issue of Press Box. You can go get it right now. It's got Kyle Hamilton on the cover. It's free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. And you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com, that new print issue of Press Box. It's time for us to make a trip up to Aberdeen to chat with a member of the Ironbirds. Our next guest just got called up to Aberdeen, and he has performed quite nicely since getting that call. He is 9 for 20 so far. He is Jake Cunningham, and he is with us now here on GCR. Jake, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
No problem. Glad I could call you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, you know, it's supposed to be harder when you get up to the next level, right? Like, you know, it's not supposed to be when everything works out. How does this work that you get to the next level and you're like, oh, now it's easy. Now I can do this.
I wish that's how baseball was, but it was certainly a great start to high A. Had a slow start to my year in Delmarva and just kept my foot down, kept working, and I was fortunate enough to have a good first week up here, so hopefully I can keep it up.
So, you know, to the point, so let's cover a couple of things. You bring up that it was, at least from offensive production standpoint, things weren't going so well at Delmarva. Was this a results didn't back up like the work? Were you happy with the at-bats you were putting together? Were you happy with the progress you were making and you just weren't getting the results?
Yeah, there was a while where we were kind of working on some things with my swing. So I felt like every day during batting practice, things would feel good, and then it would kind of be a different result in the game. So just working with the Orioles guys, the great hitting coaches, saying we don't want to be results-oriented, we want to be process-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good that the kind of new swing changes finally started feeling good towards the end of my stint in Delmarva in the first week here.
So was there a moment where it felt right to you, like where it felt like it clicked, or did you need the results that you've seen so far at Aberdeen? Like, did you have the confidence of, all right, even though maybe I'm not getting the ball to drop the way I want to, I'm good? Did you have a moment like that?
There was kind of a moment right after the All-Star break. I took kind of 3 days to clear the mind and work on some things in my swing, and then I feel like after that, around mid-July, things kind of clicked, and my mindset got better, and I was able to put together some better weeks.
He is Jake Cunningham. He is with us here on GCR. Jake, what is something that maybe you talk about getting in with the guys in the Orioles, and what is something maybe that they did change, or they wanted you to change, or at least even impacted about your swing, about the way you approach things at the plate?
Yeah, I was kind of I kind of had a simpler swing, which was good in some cases, but once you move up higher levels, they're going to know how to pitch you and things to kind of throw you off. So just having a better forward move to make me adjustable to all the pitches rather than just the pitch I'm looking for. That's pretty much what we were working on.
How comfortable, how quickly did that come that you were like, okay, this makes sense to me?
It definitely took a little bit of time, but now I feel like I've got a good grasp of how it's supposed to feel, and headed into the off season, which is in a couple weeks, I feel like I'm going to know what to work on and things I need to change, which is good.
You are now over a year into being in your professional career, right? Like, are you at a place where you feel confident in your direction and where it is that you're going as a pro?
I do. I feel confident in the direction I'm going. I feel like I have the right assets in my hand to be able to keep moving up, and it's just up to me and continuing to work hard and taking each day to get better.
He is Jake Cunningham. He's with us here on GCR. Jake, take me back to last year, right? You go in the 5th round coming out of Charlotte. What did you know about, like, the direction of the Orioles? How excited were you about, like, wow, there's something cooking here? I know you'd probably be excited no matter where you had been drafted because you just want to get into being a pro. But was there something uniquely interesting to you about seeing the development of the Orioles and how many guys had churned through and getting into this organization because of that?
Yeah, it was for sure exciting. It was kind of awesome during our little draft camp last year, and they brought us all down to Florida, and we saw what all the affiliates were doing and how many prospects we have and how successful the major league team was. So it was definitely super exciting to hear my name get called by Baltimore during this time, which is really a great time to be an Oriole. Great staff, great players, everything. So it's been a blessing so far.
Was it like a culture shock to you to live anywhere other than Charlotte, North Carolina for a bit?
Nah, it's been good so far.
Right, fair, but like I am correct that like you had spent basically your entire life to that point in Charlotte, right?
I have, yes.
So tell me about like your path to baseball. Like growing up, was it always baseball for you? Was there other sports that you succeeded at? How did you fall in love with the idea of playing baseball?
There was definitely other sports. I played kind of everything growing up: football, basketball, baseball, and swam a good bit too. I guess I just chose baseball kind of around the high school years because I loved it that much, and it was kind of the sport I was best at. So it ended up working out.
So, I saw on your bio, your Charlotte bio, that you were into like some of the more extreme sports, like you're a snowboarder, a wakeboarder. I think I saw a picture on your Instagram the same way. I'm used to like most baseball players when they're not playing baseball, they like try to go squeeze in a round of golf. Do you, when you get a
yeah.
Monday or something like that, are you golfing, or are you trying to do something a little bit more like extreme to satisfy those interests that you have?
No, I actually have picked up golf recently.
Okay.
Because the season is so long and we have so many games, I can't really be doing too much on a Monday. But I have picked up golf in the last year, so I try and get out there on a few Mondays with the guys.
You all right? So are you enjoying it? And like I am, I guess it's baseball's tough enough. Like baseball, as everybody talks about, is a game of failure. How do you? Does that maybe help you, like your baseball experience, and translate into golf? Because I will tell you, the most difficult thing for me about golf is I wasn't good, and it just made me want to say, I don't need to play this. I'm not good at it. I don't need to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle on the golf course.
Yeah,
I think
right.
the one good thing about being a baseball player is that I can hit a ball decently far, but accuracy does not carry over. So it's definitely a struggle on the golf course. I'm still trying to break 95.
What about like how have you had one that you just absolutely ripped yet, like a drive that you're like, oh dude, it just gives you that feeling that's like hitting a home run in baseball?
I love that feeling, and that's
right?
honestly what brings you back to the golf course, even if you shoot a 100. Is that one shot? That's all you need.
All right,
and it brings you back.
I will convince myself once in a while, like maybe I could be a golfer because you sting one and you're just like, oh hell yeah, and then I'm like, nope, not gonna be the case for me. So Jake, priorities moving forward, right? Like you have a little success here as you head towards the off season. What are the areas of your game that you either want to get more consistent at or continue to improve as you look ahead to 2025?
Definitely trying to continue to improve on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like even when I've been struggling offensively this year, I've been playing a decent defense and running the bases pretty well. So I feel like getting in the batting cage this offseason and really fine-tuning some things to come into spring training in a good spot is what I need to do.
So you're comfortable. I guess the flip side of that is you feel pretty good about where you're at defensively.
I do, yes.
Excellent. Covering ground, and that's certainly been something that I think a lot of people have been noticing. All right, Jake Cunningham, Ironbirds outfielder. Let's let everybody know season's not over for the Ironbirds yet. There's still opportunities to get out there, including this weekend. The Ironbirds are home, so you can get up to Leidos Field at Ripken Stadium in Aberdeen. Tonight is less like more love night, and I can't pretend that I know what that means, but I'll let them explain it to you. You can find out. Also coming up this weekend, Harry Potter night on Friday night and post-game fireworks. There's a Zorb Ball Tournament of Champions on Saturday. I'm going to have Griffin explain all of these things to me later. They just might not be for me, but I know they're for somebody, and you can get up there this weekend to check it all out. Jake, can you remind Orioles fans so they can be giving you a follow, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere like that?
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter, but my Instagram is just simply a Jake Cunningham 10 with the number 10 at the end.
Jake Cunningham 10. Give him a follow there. Jake, great to meet you, man. Can't wait to continue to follow you and see the success that you have in this organization and chat with you more as you move along. Appreciate you hopping on with us and spending a couple of minutes with us this morning.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Nice to meet you as well.
It's Jake Cunningham of the Aberdeen Ironbirds with us here on GCR. A couple people have gotten in this morning about some various things that we've been talking about from Ryan. Ryan says, Glenn, I remember quite well those years of you guys doing hourly training camp updates. I also remember you getting pulled over on the way and trying to fake it. I did. That's an incredible memory, Ryan. One morning, so I during training camp would usually So
you did a bad job faking it.
Yeah. Well, I think I normally let Casey or Luke, because the truth is, like, practice didn't start in the 6 o'clock hour, so there's no reason I needed to be there in the 6 o'clock hour. So ultimately, we converted it, and instead of you doing a live hit at 6:30, we just said we'll play some audio from yesterday and call that our training camp report in the 6:30 hour or in the 6 a.m. hour. But before we did that, somebody had to do a 6 a.m. hour training camp report. I don't even remember what time practice started back then. I think the morning practice might have started at 8 or something like that. So oftentimes you would be faking it. You wouldn't be there. Like, I'd know if it wasn't me and it was Casey, I would call Casey. I knew Casey was at home. He hadn't even left for Westminster yet. But maybe it wasn't the 6:31. Maybe it was the 7:31, and I was running like a little bit later than I wanted to be running. And I had like decided that I was going to try to pass it off as though I was there. Like, oh, it's a crisp morning here. And, like, I remember that well. And then I remember, as this is before they banned like cell phones and before you would just talk through. There was no hands-free back then. Definitely got a speeding ticket. Definitely got a speeding ticket.
Live.
While I was live. Yeah, that happened 100%. I don't think it was a 6:30 a.m. because I think those like we just all kind of knew. Like we weren't pretending like we were there because why unlike Scott Wyckoff, who really goes wherever he's reporting from, like we could just acknowledge, hey, practice hasn't started yet, but we would be previewing. Here's what to look ahead to today, right? Out at training camp. And then by 7:30, we maybe were there because the practice started at 8 or whatever it was. Because that was back in the day at 2-a-days too.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. Ryan, that's a hell of a memory. I 1,000% got a speeding ticket while I was trying to do a hit with Drew, where I was pretending that I was there, and I think I was only like 10 minutes down the road, but I was absolutely pretending. Like,
I'm out. Where you got pulled out?
I'm out here. It was whatever that big. What's the main road that took you?
140.
140. I was on 140.
Yeah.
I was probably something like 10 to 15 minutes outside of.
Yeah, it's like that Wawa or something. Or
It was in a stretch where there wasn't a lot there.
Okay, so it's before like you were in Westminster.
Yeah, before I was in Westminster.
Somewhere between that. Yeah, that
somewhere
no man's land, Finksburg and Westminster.
100%. Like that's where I was, and I got
right in front of Gerstel probably.
I got pulled over, and then it was am I going to be able to pull this off? Like, am I going to be able to keep the hit going? How long is he going to take to process it? Can I get stuff out quick? And then I realized, and I think I just said, all right, Drew, I got to admit something to you. I was actually pulling into a training camp, and I just got pulled over. And then we did the whole bit where I was like, all right, leave it on. And that was a big
leave it on.
Yeah, look, I kept the call going as I was getting the ticket, 100%. That absolutely, without question, was a thing that occurred. That is a hell of a memory, Ryan.
So was it the Carroll County Sheriff, or was it the MSP? Did Ryan remember? I feel like Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, if you can pass that along for Griffin because he's weirdly interested in that topic.
I mean, I just miss it too. Because I literally grew up across the street. Like that was.
Well, look, it was a burden for me to go out to Westminster,
right, yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like there's no world in which it's been better for the fan base. Drew's point, it being better for the Ravens as an entity, probably true. There absolutely is collateral damage. And I'm not trying to pretend like that means they've lost fans or something like that. Like
football, the NFL's only grown.
Correct. My God. Like I'm not trying to bamboozle anyone into anything. It's just that you can't possibly compare. You can't there was something, it was a gathering place for the community. You didn't have to care about watching any of the practices. You would just go. You would meet friends. Say, let's go out there. Then we'll go grab lunch. It was a thing. And that cannot be replicated with what they're doing at their own facility. And I'm not mad about that. Like, that's their business. But both things can be true. And it has 1,000% had an impact on the interest of the community in training camp. Not because it's anything that was happening in Westminster was more relevant than anything that happens in Owings Mills. It was the same meaningless, you're trying to talk yourself into, Dayton Wade is very exciting. It's just as meaningless here as it was when it was Mark Lester running around in Owings Mills. But you wanted to talk.
Well, Dayton Wade caught a touchdown.
Thank you.
In the preseason.
Very aware. Nice play yesterday. It's still
really?
He did. Still just as meaningless as it was. But the difference was it was a community event. It was a gathering spot for the entire region. You didn't have to plan ahead. You didn't have to know where to. You just could decide. You wake up on a Saturday morning. What are we doing today? Nothing? You guys want to go out and hit up training camp? Sure, by all means. And that will never be able to replicate. And it created greater interest in what was happening because of it. Because you were reporting not just on a practice, but you were reporting on an event. That mattered. So that's if you're wondering why people care, that's part of it. It's part of it. We laid out all those reasons, and they're all very relevant. It's all part of it. But the preseason football games also used to be events, real events, genuine. Something was happening, and we could debate about how long the starters should play, and we could debate about, like, they were real things. And the fact that there is absolutely nothing relevant about preseason football games anymore is a huge part of this. Your memories of how important training camp and the preseason felt as a football fan, for those of you that are a certain age, they were very real. It is very different today. Like, it's almost laughable how much coverage we have of training camp in the preseason because nothing is happening. We're forcing it.
They're practicing.
Yeah. And I can tell you from looking at the numbers, like, it's just not it's not warranted, the amount of coverage that we still did. We're doing it because we got to justify our jobs. Because the danger is that someone comes in and says, wow, we don't need this much. Like, this isn't necessary. But it's not changing. I mean, that's why, to me, it's go ahead and get however many games we're going to get of real football, get there, right? Like, let's go ahead and get there because the real football all matters and is exciting and is relevant. Let's get there quickly. Now, it's a weird feeling for me because I also don't really think I want the NFL season starting before Labor Day weekend. Like, we're starting at Labor Day weekend. Like, I'm so used to this is how the calendar works. This is the way we do things. I'm very torn about this. Like, there's a part of me that wants to say, like, just don't play Labor Day weekend. Like, if you got to put put 2 games before Labor Day weekend, but don't play Labor Day weekend or play Thursday and Friday. Let me have Labor Day weekend. Let us have our things.
You think they care about the U.S. Open?
It's not just the U.S. Open. It's people like going to the beach, Griffin. That's my selfish thing. People like going to the beach Labor Day weekend. That's a big – I don't know if you remember, it was literally why the previous governor changed the laws about when school could start. It's a big deal.
So
if you wanted to play that weekend, I guess I would say maybe have everybody play Thursday and Friday. Like, do a wild...
Do you think the NFL would do that?
No, I don't think there's a chance in hell the NFL would do that. But that would be my ask. I actually think it'd be a fun way to kick the season off, right? Like, I don't know why college football is banned.
Turn it into like a 4-day weekend, and you start on Thursday. Basically.
I would say start, like, maybe do a kickoff game, your big kickoff game, the Ravens-Chiefs thing. Do that like on Wednesday. Before
Labor
Day weekend.
Okay.
Then have 6 games on Thursday, and then the rest of the games staggering because nobody works a full day on Labor Day Friday. Like, that doesn't happen. Everybody's off by noon. So start the games like Friday afternoon. Like, have the first game at like 3:00 and stagger. Get everything done with for the first week of the season. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Then let people have the rest of their Labor Day weekend to do the things that they go to the beach. Do the things they want to do. Whatever it is that you do in other... I don't know what the traditions are in Chicago on Labor Day weekend. I don't know if people go to the lake or something like that. I know here that's a big part of our calendar for the year. So we like going to the beach Labor Day weekend. Not me, because I have other things that I like doing. But it would also hurt me.
And you hate the beach.
Oh, and the beach sucks. Yeah, 100%. I have no interest.
The beach doesn't suck.
No,
you hate the beach.
It's wretched. It's
an
abomination. But we're not adult enough to have those conversations, so people still go do it. I would love to have a cool, like, kickoff week for the NFL. How much fun would that be? Like, big game on Wednesday. How many games? You got to get 16 games in, right? Big game on Wednesday. 6 more on Thursday. Like, they're all in prime time. They all feel bigger because of that. So everybody's playing in prime time.
We'd have to get a red zone Thursday night.
You get a red zone Thursday night. You get another red zone on Friday. Then you get college football the rest of the weekend. Like, it'd be fun, man. That would be a fun way to do the weekend.
Darn it. all my fantasy drafts are always Labor Day
That's
weekend.
the problem. That is the bigger problem that
Yeah.
I have with it, is that I don't want to mess that up. Like, it's part of my joy is, although I have also noticed, like, we got nothing going on in August. Like, we're so ready for football season to just start because we're done with August at this point. It's the worst month of the year. Nobody likes to talk about it. And if your birthday's in August, I'm sorry. God bless you. You might feel differently about the month. But for everyone whose birthday is not in August, August is the worst month of the year. There is nothing relevant that happens. There's no gathering thing. There's no holiday.
Olympics bled over this year.
They bled in a little bit. They gave us a couple of days of relevant August. We already looked at the dates. There's not even any August Olympics the next time around.
Yeah.
August stinks as a month. Whenever you power rank the months, it's August number 1 with a bullet.
Is it?
August is the worst month by far. There's no redeeming quality about August. The only thing that you could ever associate August with is going back to school, which is the worst thing that you had as a kid. That's it. That's the only association you have with August. It sucks as a month.
I think you're right.
Oh, I know I'm right. We've done this exercise way too many times.
All right.
August is the worst month. Second worst month is February. Everybody knows that. It's miserably cold. The football playoffs are over. You have nothing to look forward to. The worst
March
holiday
Madness
of the year.
coming up.
That happens in March.
Yeah, but it's coming
Not
up.
in February.
College basketball's at its height.
The
in
worst
February.
holiday of the year falls in that month. February sucks.
Groundhog Day?
Sucks. Yes, that's the one.
What do you have against Groundhog
Obviously,
Day?
it's always worst month August, second worst month February. Then you start. There's real
You don't like
competition.
Tony
after
Phil?
that. Yeah, I hate him. Hate that guy. Screw that guy. Telling me there's gonna be more winter.
Or less sometimes.
Yeah, but he's wrong normally.
Sometimes he's wrong about being more winter.
There's always more winter, Griffin. It's February 2nd. There couldn't be more winter. Always more winter. So you have August at the top, then you have February 2nd. After that, I'll start hearing arguments, right? Like, April's kind of meh, but at least the weather's starting to change.
Opening day.
Yeah, like there's enough in
Usually.
there that, like, the draft is in April and you like that. So you're like, all right, I guess there's some redeeming qualities to April. June, it's hot now, but like you get out of school, summer's
College
starting.
Baseball World Series.
Yeah, it doesn't really. That
My
falls on-
birthday.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's relevant for a lot of people. Like, after that, it really does start to be an argument. Everybody knows the fall months are the best months. Those are the best months of the year by far and away because you get football. Like, it's football and fall-s. It can't get any better. You go jump in a pile of leaves. You go to apple pick. You do the whole thing. It's the best there is. We don't do better than the fall. You want to say December because the weather sucks, but you get all the Christmassy stuff. You get all the holiday stuff. That's
Hanukkah,
neat. Yeah, the Hanukkah stuff. Well, it's not always December for Hanukkah.
True,
Sometimes there's like a November.
90%.
It's really weird when there's Thanksgiving and Hanukkah
Yeah.
at the exact same time. It's very strange. I remember did a Hanukkah dinner with an intern's family on Thanksgiving Eve. It was just a very strange. It was great. I love me some brisket. Like, I'm all in. But yeah, like it's a whole deal. But December's still nice. You get to see the family. You get to get together with friends. Like December, you hate the weather, but you can't
Bowl
really be mad at it.
season.
Sure, bowl season. As much as the games suck, it's still nice to have.
You're not watching them the right way.
But you get them also. You get the thing that you love, which is sports during the day. You get those days late in December where there's sports starting at 1:00, and especially when you're home from school, it's the best thing in the world. Like, you suddenly care so much about Western Michigan versus North Texas. You find yourself an expert on those
As you
teams.
should.
Yeah, that's the way that it goes. So there's debate after. There's two that are separated, two that are definitively the worst. The fall are definitively the best. Everything else in there we could have a conversation about. The truth is, if there wasn't a July 4th, July would suck. But July 4th is great.
And the All-Star game.
No, that's awful. That's an argument against July. The All-Star game stinks.
And Home Run Derby, obviously.
The Home Run Derby is okay, but only okay. July
This
as a
year it
month
sucked, but
largely sucks. Largely sucks, but July 4th is so good that you don't bother to notice. It's the damnedest thing.
And you throw a vacation in there.
After July 4th,
Never stinks.
the summer is dead from July 4th until football comes back. That's part of our problem. That's also what adds to why August sucks so much.
We never did that
because
wrong with this country, I guess.
Yeah, right? We got to get into this. What are we doing? Let's take a break. We'll come back and wrap things
go up
up.
to the Orioles
How did this happen? How did I get here? What happened? Oh, we were talking about why it feels different, preseason football.
Yeah.
And it's part of it, the dreg of this. It's like let's get on with it now. Like, we're all sitting here. Like, we still have to. I couldn't believe when I started this week that we were still 2 weeks away from Labor Day. Like, really?
I know.
Really? 2 more weeks? I said it to Colson about starting our player shows that we'll be announcing. Well, I guess we've already announced a little bit softly, but we'll give more of an announcement to that in the coming week. I was like, God, we got this in 2 weeks. He was like, No, we don't. We're still 3 weeks away. Like, we're what? How? How is this? The summer's over. Let's get on with it. So I do think we want August football. I do think for that reason.
Well,
I just don't want Labor Day weekend.
3 weeks of it.
I want Labor Day weekend to be. It is still a summer holiday weekend, and I want us to be treating it like a summer holiday weekend. So I'm very torn on this because you're also right. I don't want to take fantasy drafts off Labor Day weekend, but that might be the sacrifice I have to make in order to get August.
We need a Monday off before then to help get those fantasy drafts in.
Now let's talk about this. You might be onto something.
So maybe what if this is going to become a 3-day week, that last week of August. Because basically Friday's off. We can't do anything Monday because we got to get our fantasy drafts in. That's Sunday,
what if we moved Labor Day? Why does Labor Day have to be the first Monday of September? Why can't Labor Day be the third? It's not like Labor Day's so great. It's just the weekend's good.
Yeah.
And if that's not when kids go back to school anyway, why don't we just move it? Why don't we just make the final weekend of August Labor Day weekend?
And so that Monday is still off?
Yeah, we'd just make that the final weekend of August becomes a 4-day weekend. I mean, it's a 3-day weekend, but we all make it a 4-day weekend. And then we could at least get a week. Football starts a week earlier in that scenario.
Are they going to have to move the college football season up too, so they get their lone week of primetime, or are they going to communicate so they can have Saturday?
College football is bagged out on week 0 anyway, right? Like that was they tried a couple times. That's it. That's all it is. It's just this one game. That's all week 0 is. Like the Delaware State Hawaii. Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Did you see, by the way, that Delaware State missed their flight? Is it happening or not? Or they have to cancel the game?
I haven't seen an update. I mean, I know that they said that they
It's not a TV game, so it doesn't hurt us. Like, if you were thinking that you're going to be able to stay up Saturday night and watch some Hawaii football, I don't know what happened there.
It's like not on ESPN Plus?
No, ESPN screwed the pooch on this. The best thing ever when I was young and going out drinking was coming back and still having Hawaii football to watch at night. Like, the number of times I would convince my friends that didn't care about football at all to put a Hawaii game on at 1 a.m. or whatever time it was. Oh, it was a joy unlike anything else in life. Like, I still had football to watch when I was all hammered at that point. Some years ago, ESPN got out of the Hawaii business. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the story is. It infuriates me because I'll be up after all the good games. I'll be like, I could go for one more game, and there's not one more game on anymore. They play them on local TV in Hawaii or like on pay-per-view or something like that. So you don't even get to watch it. So it really doesn't affect us as there's no Hawaii game on Saturday. But week 0, they've punted on week 0. It's not a real thing. We don't need to worry about that.
There's games being played, but yeah.
No, but they're not trying. Look at the schedule. It's the Dublin game and nothing. By the way, have you made any progress on talking to the crew?
Yeah, pretty much. I forgot that I haven't texted John in Little Rock yet. I do need to.
So you're just doing it individually?
What do you mean?
You're not just sending a group text out?
Oh, I
thought maybe getting a group chain going with ideas.
Well, once I have everyone in, and then all right, I'll make it today.
Whatever.
I'll make it today.
Come back in. We'll do what are we doing next? Tidbit tubular to wrap it up?
Yes.
Orioles game's coming up.
Yes.
If you missed Dan the Fan, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson on Monday, you can find it Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, PressBoxOnline.com/video. Glenn Clark Radio.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at BaltimoreGolfAcademy.com.
Frederick Keys baseball is back. With 30 more home games beginning on July 2nd, the Keys are excited to welcome you back to Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. We want to see you there. Countless promotions will be on display every game, with it ranging from Tap House Tuesdays to Firework Fridays and everything in between. For more information or to buy tickets, call 301-815-9939 or visit FrederickKeys.com today.
We've all experienced it before. The fantasy football draft from hell. Your buddy says you can do it at his house, but he never asks his wife. She's screaming at him the whole time and forces you guys to sit outside in the unforgiving heat. Then everyone brings the exact same store-bought 7-layer dip, and somehow you accidentally draft someone named LeVar Jackson because your brain can't function in these circumstances. Don't cop out and just move your draft online this year. Let Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel handle everything for you. Book your draft party, complete with your choice of all-you-can-eat entrees, drinks, and custom draft kits for the whole league, plus a custom trophy for your champion and a $75 gift card for the commish. Visit PressBoxOnline.com/social. That's PressBoxOnline.com/social, and never have a fantasy draft from hell again.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Hagerstown, Maryland, a snapshot of American history that dates back centuries. Today, the roots of the city expand with another historical moment, the grand opening of Meredith Park, Hagerstown's new event stadium and home to the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Experience the energy, culture, and adventure. Plan your getaway today at America's newest and most innovative ballpark. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
There he is, Agent 00 Chicken. Nothing can keep him from Royal Farms Chicken Palooza. Because right now, he can get a 3-piece world-famous chicken box for just $8 with a portion of each sale donated to a local charity. Plus, register to win world-famous chicken for a year. Come to Royal Farms Chicken Palooza. It's a real thriller, but it's only for a limited time. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, winding down for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Continue to get your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio, and someone will win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. How about a tidbit?
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
What you got?
JD Martinez continues to crush the Orioles. He hit his, he hit it. I guess I'll just go ahead and say it. He hit his 37th career home run against the Orioles, second most among active players.
Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge is number 1. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. There are 11 guys that have hit 20 or more home runs. 11 active players that have hit 20 or more home runs against the Orioles. Can you name the other 9? So you got Judge and Martinez. Judge Martinez, 1 and 2.
Active players, the most career home runs against the Orioles. So it's got to go one. It's either got to be guys that have played for a long time or guys in the division,
or both. But yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But so Vlad.
Yeah, Vladdy is 4th. There's one player that has more than Vlad. Judge Martinez, number 3, and then Vladdy. 27 by Vladdy. So still 10 behind J.D. Martinez.
The problem is, like, nobody stays in Tampa long enough that I feel like I almost feel like they can't be a Ray. Because who would that be? Lau? I mean, like...
No, not Lau. So the Lau has 15. Rosarena has 16.
Okay.
So those two are actually just outside the top 20.
And what's the lowest number of the...
20.
20. Devers.
Yes, Rafa Devers has 20, exactly.
Okay. How about... I don't know who else of the current Red Sox would be likely to... I'll try Mookie Betts, though.
Mookie Betts is, in fact, on the list. He also has 20.
Okay. Ay. Man, this is tough. Like, I'm trying to think of guys. So I want to go with guys that are older, right? But like Freddie Freeman's National League, and Joey Votto's National League, and Paul Goldschmidt's National League, and Bryce Harper's National. How about Trout?
Mike Trout is number 3.
Okay.
28 home runs against the Orioles. So Judge, Martinez, Trout, then Vladdy. So you got the top 4.
God.
We're still looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So looking for 5 guys.
They're all between 23 and 20 home runs.
All between 23 and 20 home runs. All right, is there another Red Sox on the list?
So no more active Red Sox.
But someone who did it as a Red Sox. Bogarts.
Yes, Andrew Bogarts, 21. He's the last former.
Is there
Red
another
Sox.
Yankee on the list?
There is 2, 1 former Yankee, 1 current Yankee.
Former, 1 current. DJ LeMahieu.
Not DJ LeMahieu.
By the way,
he doesn't hit home runs.
How about the Yankees last night, huh?
That was great. God, they were like...
Boy.
They were,
I was so furious with the Guardians.
It's kind of incredible that they were in
Guardians,
it that long.
When the Guardians had 2 innings, they couldn't score the runner on second base. I was like,
I know.
Just forget it. Forget it.
Fortunately, they had... Because they used Clase in both...
Yeah, the 9th and the 10th.
Yeah, the 9th and the 10th.
The 9th
so
and the 10th. Yep. Yeah. The Guardians beat the Yankees in extras last night, and the Orioles go back into first place by themselves, although tied in the loss column.
And they still have a lower winning
get...
percentage than Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Torres?
Yes, Gleyber Torres had all of those that one season. He has 23 total.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's 5th on the active list.
They kept pitching to him. Gary Thorne was screaming.
What are we
doing? Oh, I totally forgot about that. Great call. Damn it. He was losing his mind.
Yeah.
Gary Thorne was going to have a pulmonary embolism over the fact that they kept pitching. I remember putting him on to talk about it. Like, we had so much fun. He was losing his effing mind. It was also a miserable season. Like, it was all coming out. Probably there was some inclination that he wasn't going to be around long term, and it was all coming out for Gary Thorne at that point. He was not having it with them continuing to pitch to Gleyber Torres. Former Yankee hit a bunch of home runs. Damn. Former Yankee. It's not Troy Tulowitzki.
No. Who would count as a former Blue Jay?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it would have been a good argument, right?
He's not active. I don't know how many he's got.
Oh, you could have told me he was still playing somewhere, and I would have believed you. Who's a former Yankee that? Gary Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez.
Really?
Well done, yes.
Okay.
Gary Sanchez has 22 against the Orioles. Currently,
any more Blue
Milwaukee
Jays?
Brewer. 1 former Blue Jay, 1 current Blue Jay. And these are the only two we have left.
1 former Blue Jay, 1 current Blue Jay. 1 former Blue Jay and 1 current Blue Jay. So the current Blue Jay, I guess, is where I should start. It's Bo Bichette.
Not Bo Bichette. Let's see, Bichette has like 10, I think. Yeah, 10.
Sounds a lot like Boba Fett when you say it like that. Bo Bichette.
Bo Bichette.
Bo Bichette.
You gotta say it with some rhythm. Bo Bichette.
That sounds like something else.
Bo Bichette.
You'd sound like you're saying a man named Boba did something. That's what you sound like.
Saying
Boba
Bichette.
took a. That's what it sounds like you're saying when you say it that way.
Bichette.
I'm just telling you what it sounds like.
So do I need to? Is this something I should actually be careful about?
I don't know. Maybe. Are you planning on calling a lot of Blue Jays games in the future?
No, but I
All
mean,
right.
it's something. I don't know.
If you can get the job, I'm not telling you not to. Springer.
Yes, Springer.
Okay.
So So Springer, we have one left. He has 22.
Guessing it's
Yes,
not
22.
Caven Biggio. All right, just tell me. It's 1228. Who is
But I wanted you to guess this guy. He's currently a Diamondback.
currently a Diamond?
He wasn't even with the Blue Jays all too long, but whenever he played the Orioles, he clobbered the Orioles, it felt like. He was only with the Blue Jays for 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
2018 to 2021.
Oh, Randall Grichuk.
Randall Grichuk. Yes.
All right. Very good.
You know, as the most all-time home runs against the Orioles?
Alex Rodriguez.
By 1.
Over David Ortiz?
No, David Ortiz.
Because Brian Mattis always took care of David Ortiz.
David Ortiz was 3rd. Number 2.
Manny Ramirez.
No. Manny's further down.
Really?
JD Martinez is 12th all-time, whatever that's worth.
Second most home runs against the Orioles all time would be...
Did it in the early days against the Orioles.
In the early days against the Orioles.
A Minnesota Twin.
Harmon Killebrew?
Harmon Killebrew has 68 home runs
random.
against
That's
the
so
Orioles.
random.
One less than Alex Rodriguez.
That is so random. All right, very good. Let's get tubular. Aha. Well, at least it's not 12:30.
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Orioles Mets 110 on Masson. Welcome back, Cole Irvin to take on Sean Manaea. It's also on MLB Network in the rest of the country. Masson has Rockies Nationals tonight at 6:45. MLB Network locally, Red Sox Astros at 2:10. Then everybody gets White Sox Giants at roughly 3:45. Mariners Dodgers 10:10. It depends on what the Orioles.
Troy
game is.
Tulowitzki only hit 6 home runs against the Orioles.
What a bum. He should be out of baseball. Fox Sports 1, Brewers Cardinals 7:45. Apparently, is that a doubleheader today, Brewers Cardinals? Because I think there's another. Is that?
I don't think so.
No.
Sorry.
Schedule. Or did I write something down wrong? That's the other possibility here. Is that no? It's not a doubleheader.
Yeah, not a doubleheader.
So I'm wrong about something. I don't know what it is that I'm wrong about because I have Brewers Cardinals as being the free game of the day today on MLB TV.
It is
as well.
tomorrow, the free game.
No, it's today.
Wait.
Or their schedule's wrong.
It's both. Oh, no. Today it's Red Sox Astros, or at least according to the app. It says
Well, their schedule of what the free game of the day has Brewers Cardinals at 2:15 today.
they play at 2:15 tomorrow. They play at 7:45 tonight.
Griffin, I believe you. I'm just telling. This is the MLB TV free game of the day schedule. And what does it say on Wednesday, August 21st?
Then I guess they're wrong.
They are clearly. Read that.
Yeah, they got that wrong.
Yeah, they're clearly wrong. But I don't. There's nothing I can do. I read the schedule. The schedule's wrong, clearly. So what are you saying is the free game of the day today?
The free game of the day is it is at 2 in the 2:00 hour. Red Sox Astros.
And what it's at 2:10. 2:10. Red
Yes.
Sox Astros is at 2:10.
Verlander
That's
versus Cooper Criswell.
Ah, well, we'll be watching the Orioles game, so none of this really matters. All right. Also, Little League World Series all day on ESPN, and then tonight Minnesota Lynx Vegas Aces at 9:30. ESPN Plus, by the way, has Pirates Rangers at 2:35. TBS for AW Dynamite at 8. Non-sports.
New episode of Bad Monkey on Apple TV Plus, the Vince Vaughn show. I'm meaning to check it out. I do want to see what it's about. Of course, DNC stuff. I'm trying to figure out. I
Who's
thought there was
tonight? Last
Channing
night was
Tatum.
tonight would be the vice president. It would be Walls. I
Is it?
assume. I guess.
You would know, but
It's not.
MasterChef is on though.
Ooh.
Over on Fox. I think it is a 2-hour episode. I could be wrong. I don't know, but it is on
because the
8.
networks don't go to the coverage until like 10. Right?
Yeah, well, like NBC's going to the coverage at 9, starting at 9 tonight. I don't know why, but yeah, like CBS won't go until 10. Neither will Fox. I don't know. On Netflix, Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War. If anybody cares about that,
Sure.
It looks like a cool like docudrama. It's like it's just like narrated about true Wild West stories. Wyatt Earp versus Ike Clanton.
Well, how about that?
Looks kind of cool.
All
But
right.
yeah, no,
You good?
Nah.
All right. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Drew, I guess. Thanks to Qadry. Thanks to Jake Cunningham. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the...
Oh, my God, it's so good.
Yeah, right. For one more day, we do it that way. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow, Buck Showalter joins the program. Always appreciate catching up with Buck. We're going to Bowie. We're going to chat with Enrique Bradfield, who just got called up, Orioles first-round pick from a year ago. And we'll continue to catch up. We've been trying to catch up with some of the locals that are in other training camps. And apparently Jake Funk is with the Lions, Griffin tells me. And I did not know that. So we'll
I hope he is, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know who I've been talking to.
I like Jake, so we'll catch up with him. All right, very good. Thanks, everybody at PressBox. All of our great sponsors and partners, including the Maryland 5-Star, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Visit Hagerstown in Washington County, Cruise Maryland, Ocean City, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, the Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costas Inn, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com, Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.